In the past few months, I covered a lot of farms for Minecraft Bedrock Edition on my channel, and here are the full tutorials for the best working farms you gotta build. Enjoy the video. So this video, I show you how to build a fully AFK wood farm for Minecraft 1.21 Bedrock Edition. The first thing after finding a good flat area to build this insane farm on is to place down a row out of 10 solid blocks. After you did this, you want to dig out 2 blocks in front of each and every one of these blocks that you placed, so a depth of 2 blocks and a length of 10 blocks. Then, in this hole, you want to place sticky pistons, which will again account for 10 sticky pistons. On top of them, you want to go ahead and place some sand blocks. In front of these sand blocks, you want to go ahead and place a row out of solid blocks. Then take your sticky pistons again, go to the row of blocks right here and place down sticky pistons facing to you. Then on top of the second row, you want to go ahead and place again some sand blocks. After completing the first step for this farm, get behind the farm to the first sticky piston in the row, and there you want to place some blocks in a T shape. Then you want to remove this one, so you have a V shape looking something like this. In the middle block, you want to place a redstone repeater, which is on 2 ticks, so click it once. In this position, place some redstone dust, and in this position a redstone torch. This will create a redstone clock, and you want to place a lever in this position and shut it off, and this will be the on and off switch for the entire farm. Now if some sand broke, this is fine, just replace it. As the next step, place 1 block behind every single of these sticky pistons. And then we'll grab some redstone dust and replace redstone dust on top of all of these blocks that you just placed. Then the pistons will extend and will connect to our sand blocks. As the next thing, you want to grab some solid blocks again, and then you want to place a row out of solid blocks all on top of these sticky pistons. Now in front, so on top of the sticky piston arms, you want to place a line out of sand blocks. Then place another line out of solid blocks on top of the first one, so everything looks like this and you have this staircase shape. At this point, grab some observers, some redstone torches and pistons and also some blocks, and place a redstone torch at the side of the first sticky piston in the row, so right next to the redstone clock. Then next to the blocks, you want to place 2 observers on top of each other, facing upwards, so with the redstone output to the top. Then what you want to do is to place a solid block on top of the output of the observer right here, then a line out of pistons on top of all these solid blocks, with 1 solid block at the end, and another line out of solid blocks behind all of these pistons. Then grab some redstone dust again, place redstone dust on top of this solid block and on top of all these pistons you just placed. As the next step, we will create the composting system for our farm. This will create all the bone meal that is required to grow our wood. In order to do this, what you want to do is to get to the other side that is opposite of our redstone clock, so right here, and there you want to place a dispenser in this position facing that way. It should be 1 block offset from the edge of the farm. Then in front of all these solid blocks, you want to place a line of hoppers that funnels into each other. You want to really make sure that all of them are connected and funnel into our dispenser. On top of all these hoppers, you want to go ahead and place 1 composter each. This composter will compost all the kelp and turn it into bone meal. Then take out some more hoppers and place another line of hoppers on top of our composters. Now in between the sand and the composters, you want to place a line out of solid blocks, and then our composting system is already set up. As the next step, come to this side, and there you want to place 3 blocks in these positions. Then you want to stack 3 more layers of block lines on top, and after you did this, you want to do the same thing at the other side. So first of all, place 2 blocks in these positions because we left them out earlier. And then you want to place 3 blocks, and you want to extend this wall by 3 layers, so you end up 1 block above the entire farm. Now in between these 2 walls, what you want to do is to take your stairs and you want to place a line out of stairs that point inwards and downwards as well. These stairs should be right in front of the redstone that we placed on top of the pistons. Before we can fill in our water streams, you want to place 1 sign in front of each of these stairs. Once you placed all these 10 signs, you want to come to this side, to this exact block, and place a sign in this position. Then you have to sneak in order to place more signs in front of the first sign, and again you want to take this row to the other end of our farm. And that should be looking something like this. As you can see, every single sign is placed at the side of the other one before. Now, as the last thing before we can create the water streams, you want to place a line out of glass panes on top of the hoppers. Again, this is to make sure that none of the water spills out. At this point, again, make sure that you have blocks behind and at the side of the pistons, and then you can go ahead and waterlog the pistons. You probably need to create an infinite water source first, so do this, and then you can fill in not only the pistons, but also the stairs at the top, and after you did this, also one block on top of the sand each. Once you placed your 3 water sources per cell, you can place in your kelp. You just want to place the kelp on top of all 10 sand blocks. Before we get to the wood part of the entire thing, what you want to do is to get to this side of the farm again, and there you want to place a redstone repeater at the side of this block. It should light up and you want to click it once, so set it on 2 ticks. Then take some redstone dust, place it in these locations, break this exact block right here and also these 2, then break this exact block and you should be right at the sticky piston right here. Then you want to dig a tunnel until you are at the other side of the piston line, and once you found that there are no more pistons in the line, you want to connect every single sticky piston to our redstone system by just connecting the redstone line with our redstone clock. This should make all these sticky pistons extend and the stand should now be at this height. Then you want to replace this exact block and our redstone system for this part of the farm is set up. Now you can also go ahead and remove your water source again, and then we get to the bamboo part of the farm. In order to do this, what you want to do is to place a bamboo in front of our dispenser. Of course, bamboo isn't wood, but trust me, we'll turn all that bamboo into wood automatically. And now, as the next step for this part, what you want to do is to place a block in this position and then a piston on top. Then you want to go ahead and break 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks in front of the bamboo. You want to place a chest in the first spot and then 2 crafters behind. You want to make sure that both of them are facing the right way. This is very important, otherwise the farm will not work. Next, you want to make sure that you place a hopper right next to it, and the hopper should funnel into the crafter in front of it. Now take some blocks and you want to make sure that you fill in all these blocks to create a wall and a roof. What you want to do is to place some blocks in these 5 positions as well, and then you want to grab some glass blocks and place 2 of them above the first crafter. By doing this, we ensure that all of the bamboo will end up being crafted into wood. Next, you want to get to the second crafter, and there you want to log all of these 9 slots, and then I show you how to connect everything with our redstone system. In order to do this, you want to grab a redstone torch and place it right at the side of our redstone clock. Then grab some redstone dust and place it all the way to this point right here. And of course, we broke some blocks right here. You want to replace them if you haven't already done this. And then you want to place redstone dust all the way to this dispenser right here. Then grab a redstone repeater and place it in this position. You want to click it 2 times so it's set to 3 ticks, and then you can finally connect the piston with some redstone dust. You have to break this block in order to do so. And now, after connecting this piston, we also want to connect the crafters. In order to do so, you need to break this block, and then you need to break these 2 blocks, and you want to dig out a little tunnel in order to get to the crafters. The first crafter is in this position right here, so you want to get underneath this crafter. You want to place a block in this position and a redstone torch at the side of the block right underneath our first crafter. So the redstone torch should be in this exact location right here, a block behind it, and then our path. We then want to place a redstone dust in this position, so right behind the block with redstone torch, another block, then a redstone repeater leading into that block, and then you want to just connect everything with redstone dust. Now you can go ahead and you want to leave out these 2 blocks and then place blocks in all these locations so that you don't drop into the redstone system, but this is rather optional. At this point, I'm glad to tell you we are finished with building this massive but very efficient farm, and in order to start it, the only thing you have to do is to flick this lever at the back side. This will start the entire construction, which will produce a high amount of kelp, which will then get turned into bone meal, and the bone meal will power this machine in order to generate tons of bamboo, and all the bamboo will automatically get crafted into these bamboo planks, which is perfect wood. You can perfectly use this wood for crafting or turn it into sticks to sell it at the villages for emeralds. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. This will help us both and you won't miss further content. And then I hope we see us again in the next video. See ya! Here's how to build stacked iron farms in Minecraft Bedrock Edition. Now first of all, you really want to make sure that you are at least 100 blocks away from every other village. That also includes iron farms, working stations, village breeders, basically everything that has to do with villagers. Otherwise, you will have problems with villagers not connecting to their proper beds. Now once you check that this is the case, you want to start by sticking up about 10 blocks. Then you want to leave the top one and remove the ones that are below, like this. As the next step, what you want to do is to extend by 4 blocks into this direction and do the same thing to this side as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. Now you want to fill this in so you have a solid 5x5 platform. And after doing this, you want to stack another layer on top. Just mirror the same platform, so you should have a 5x5x2 cube. Now, the next thing that we're gonna do is to take out some beds and place 5 of them in these locations, come to the other side and then repeat the same thing, so 5 beds. Now you want to remove all these blocks that are at this height, so you just have the 5x5 platform at the bottom left, and then you want to place 5 more beds below the ones that you placed right here, and do the same thing at the other side, so again 5 beds. As the next step, what I want you to do is to stack another layer of solid blocks on top. This layer should again have the size 5x5, and once you completed that layer, you want to extend it by 1 block into every direction. And of course, fill in all the remaining blocks, so you should end up having a 7x7 platform, and this platform should have the same center as the layers below. As the next step, what I want you to do is to place 2 blocks in the corners. Now I'm using some logs because I think they look nice at the end, but you can use any kind of other blocks as well. Then you want to place 5 working stations in these positions. I'm using fletching tables right here, but you can use basically every other workstation that you want. Maybe you want to trade with the villagers later and the workstations will depend on that. Now on top of our workstations, you want to place some more blocks, and in this case I'm using less blocks because again it has that nice aesthetics, but if you want to, you can use solid blocks or any other kind of blocks. Now I placed 5 blocks, so 1 on top of each of these workstations, and then what you want to do is to place a torch in the middle that gives us a light source so that no hostile mobs will spawn here and kill the villagers. Speaking of villagers, you now will need to get 20 villagers into that space. I know that sounds tedious, but basically what you can do is to get only 2 villagers to this farm from your nearest village or villager breeder. By the way, I got a good tutorial for a villager breeder in the video description if you want to check that out. You can do this either by minecart or by boat, and then you can use a lead to pull them all the way up to your farm. Maybe use some scaffoldings or some ladders to easily access this spot, then drop them off on top of the platform. This is the first one on the platform, let's do this with the second one as well. Here we are with the 2 villagers on top of the platform, remove the boats and then just drop them some bread or carrots or potatoes. After they shared the food, they will start breeding, as you can see by the heart particles. And as you can see, this will result in 1 extra villager. Now you just have to wait until you got 20 villagers right here. If they stop breeding for some reason, just drop them some more food and wait until all the children are grown up. Now I got 20 villagers right here, and just by the way, if you see some villagers with this green coating, these are nitwits and you don't want to have them in your farm. You must remove them by killing them and wait until another children is born and grown up. I'm sorry guys, but this is what we have to do in order to get all the iron. And now as you can see, this already resulted in one iron golem spawning. For now you want to push it off the platform, because we now need to add some more blocks to our construction. First of all, you want to place another layer on top of this wall, this time out of solid blocks. Then you want to fill in the inside, so like this, that you have a 7x7 platform out of solid blocks, and you want to extend it on all 4 sides by 2 blocks. Now this will give you a cross shape like this, and you want to fill in all the blocks to get a square platform again. In the end, this should this time give you an 11x11 platform, and you want to put a 2-block wall around the entire thing. By the way, again, here's another iron golem that spawned. At this point, for the case that there are iron golems outside of the farm that you pushed off earlier, you want to remove them as well. Use some lava so they don't influence your trades, because if you kill villagers or iron golems by hand, this will result in worse trades, and you don't want this, of course. As the next step, let's talk about water. We're gonna need some water streams to push the iron golems into one corner while there is the kill chamber later. For this, you will need a temporal infinite source of water. You can do this with this shape and then just place water in these 2 corners, so you have an infinite source of water. And then what you want to do is to come to one of the corners, this just depends on your choice, and then place a triangle out of solid blocks like this. You want to place a source of water on top of this corner right here. You don't want to put water sources on top of these 2 blocks, and then just continue with all these blocks next to the triangle out of blocks. Fill them with water source blocks, and then you should just have one empty block in the corner opposite to our main water source. Now you can go ahead and remove the infinite source of water, because we don't need any more water streams. But as the next step, what you want to do is to come to the corner that is opposite to our water stream, and there you want to add 5 solid blocks like this. What you want to do is to place a sign in this position, should be 1 block above the water, then 1 more sign right here, and repeat the same thing at the other side, so in this position right there. Then just place lava in between of all these 3 signs, and it should stay where it is. Now the last thing that we need to do is to break this block right here and replace it with a hopper. Then you want to go to the other side and remove these 2 blocks. Now you should see that the nozzle of the hopper should point outwards, and right there you want to place a double chest. At this point we can't open the chest because there are solid blocks above it, so let's remove them and replace them with stairs that are pointed like that, so that you can easily open the chest, but you don't have any openings or holes in the wall. Now whenever iron golems or cats are killed, all the items will end up being in the large chest right here. And if you want to easily access this double chest, you can just place some scaffoldings at the side of the double chest, so they stack up and will allow you to easily go to the chest and collect all the items. Now this is one iron golem farm setup, but let's talk about stacking these cells. Basically, it's pretty simple to stack iron farms. The first thing that you want to do is to go to the center of the platform right here and stack up by 14 blocks. Now we are at Y110 in this case, so you want to go up all the way to Y124. Of course, this depends on your individual height that you built this on. Then you want to extend out by 2 blocks into every single direction, which will give you a 5-block cross. You want to fill in all the blocks in the corners, so you have a full 5x5 platform, and then you just want to place another layer on top of that platform. You want to place a temporal block in this position and another one on top, remove the one below, and extend out by 3 blocks into every single direction, giving you a 7-block cross, and then fill this in again. Before we continue, make sure to remove all the blocks that are part of this column. What you want to do is to place 2 blocks in the corners again, as we did with the first iron farm, and then just leave out the working station part and continue with the glass part above them. So again, do not place in beds or working stations yet. We will do this later after we got villagers into that cell. Because basically our construction right here constitutes a village in the game mechanics, and we need to construct another village in order to stack another iron farm on top of here. If we would just transport villagers to the upper farm the regular way, they would simply connect with our lower farm and will not give us higher rates. So now, in order to stack the iron farms, you want to grab some blocks and you want to go to one side and extend out by 100 blocks. Now that you got this, you want to make this 2 blocks wide. You want to remove these 2 blocks that are above the bridge and also add a wall at the side. But as you can see, you can leave open the lower side of that wall. Then again, you want to make sure that along the entire length of the bridge, there is no village in a 100 block radius. Again, by checking that we want to prevent villagers from connecting to other existing villagers. Now at the very end of the bridge, what you want to do is to place down a bed and another one a few blocks in front. Then you want to place down a working station. I'm using composters right here, but you can use any other working station. Then another working station a few blocks in front, like this. Now you want to take 2 villagers to this spot and they should connect with the beds and the working stations, which you can see with the green particles. If you got problems with the villagers connecting to other beds or working stations, you can also go ahead and create a nether portal at the side of the bridge. And then you want to take the villagers through that nether portal and they should instantly link with the beds and the working stations. Once you really make sure that both of the villagers are connected with the bed and the working station, what you want to do is to break the bed at the back side, so right here. Then you want to replace it a few blocks in front of the working station and the villager should reconnect with the bed. Do this with the other bed again. So replace it in this position, and as you can see, the villager should again go ahead and connect with the bed. The next step will be to remove the working station and replace it a few blocks in front of the bed, and again you should see that the villager connects with the working station again. Do this with the other working station as well for the other villager, and again make sure that the villager connects to the working station. And now we just gonna repeat this cycle over and over again. And you want to continue this process until you are at the iron farm and really make sure that every time you repeat this, the villager is linked with the working station or the bed. Now what we're doing right here is very easy. These 2 villagers again constitute a village, and by moving the working stations and the beds, we simply move the center of the constituted village. And by doing this with 2 villagers, 2 beds and 2 composters, we ensure that they aren't connected with the other village below the second iron farm. Whenever one of the villagers is accidentally connected to any other working station or bed than these 2, maybe some you left around the bridge, you will have to remove the other working stations or beds and redo the entire process. Also, I recommend doing this at daytime, because then they will be easily connected to the workstations, and at night this might not be the case that quickly. Now once you got to the very end of the bridge, with the next cycle, what you can do is to place the working stations and the beds at their proper places. So similar to the first farm, the workstations belong below the glass blocks right here, and the first 2 beds should be placed on top of that platform right there. Do this with the other bed as well. Then replace the 2 blocks of the wall and remove the entirety of that bridge. And now you can go ahead and place all the remaining workstations. After that, continue with the remaining beds at this level, so 5 more at the other side. Then again, we want to remove this platform right here underneath the beds and replace the platform with 10 more beds, 5 more at this side, and you should have 20 beds and 20 workstations at our second village as well. Now just go ahead and start breeding them and wait until you have 20 working and grown-up villagers at your second iron farm as well. Now just repeat everything that you did for the first iron farm for the second iron farm as well. So a 7x7 roof that is extended by 2 blocks to every side. We already got the first iron golem spawning, so a very good sign. And a second one is there as well. We got the 2-block wall, the water streams, the killing mechanism, and a collection system. Of course, it would have been very practical to do it the same way as we did with the low one. That means this collection system above the one at the lower farm. That would allow us to access both collection systems more conveniently, but sadly I didn't think that far. Now, if for any reason 2 stacked iron farms don't give you enough iron, then you could stack up to 2 more iron farms on top of this. 4 iron farms are the max possible, and by the way, whenever using the farm, you will need to stay within a 64 block radius to all the farms so that iron golems will spawn in your simulation distance. At this point, if you liked the tutorial and it helped you for your survival world, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I appreciate all support that I get, and then I hope we see us again in the next video. See ya! This farm is totally insane, so here's how to build the best Armadillo XP farm in Minecraft Bedrock edition. The first thing that you want to do in order to build this farm is to break a block in the floor and replace it with a stone brick. However you place it, the side with the line will always be the south side of the block. There you want to break another block and replace it with sand. Now go ahead, break the stone brick, grab some temporary blocks like dirt or something else, and place blocks all around the hole. On 2 opposite sides you also want to place another block on top, and now place a trapdoor and flick it, because now we want to get a zombie in this hole. To do this, wait until it's night, lure a zombie towards your farm, jump through the gap right here, and the zombie should drop right into the farm where it belongs. Once it stops bouncing around, you can go ahead and place a solid block above its head, and then you can wait until it's day again and continue building the farm. You want to break the temporary blocks you placed to lure the zombie into it, and you also want to break the trapdoor right here and give the zombie a name tag. Now on top of the sand block you want to go ahead and place a cactus, and above that a composter. Now grab some more blocks and place them like so you have a staircase, and also you want to place some blocks all around the composter. Then take some rails and place the rails on top of the staircase and in front of the farm with a minecart in this position. We now want to lure some of these armadillos that spawn in savanna and badlands biomes to the farm, and in order to do this you can use some spider eyes because this will attract them. Once they're in a specific range to the farm they will curl in, so you want to extend your minecart track all the way to your armadillos, put down the minecart and then just push one of the armadillos into it, and you want to push the minecart up the staircase, then break the minecart and the armadillo should drop into the composter. Now you can do this with as many armadillos as you want to. The more you use, the more experience you will get later per minute. For now I will use 4 armadillos. As the next step you want to break the minecart track again and also all the holder blocks that you placed in order to get them there. By the way, if you're annoyed by the sound they make, you can just destroy the cactus for a moment and replace it later. As the next step, take a block of leaves and place it on top of the solid block above the zombie. Then place 2 glass blocks in these 2 positions and mirror the same thing to the other side. Then you want to go to the back side and place a trapdoor and flick it. Then what you want to do as the next step is to place a temporal block in this position and also a fence right in this position. You want to break the holder block, take yourself a water bucket and pour it down into the leaf. The water should not flow down but should stop right at the composter. Now take 2 solid blocks and place them in these 2 positions. Go to one side and place 2 more glass blocks like this and also 1 solid block in this position. Then you want to place a redstone comparator right in this position right here and click it once so it lights up. Then a lever in this position, 3 redstone dust all around the redstone comparator and 1 more redstone dust right in this position. Now take a trapdoor, turn around and place it on top of the fence, and if you test the system, the trapdoor should open this way. Then turn the system off again. You also want to place another trapdoor right in front of this redstone dust and flick it open. After that you want to take some tridents and throw them against the trapdoor. Now if you have 4 armadillos like I do, you will need 3 tridents, and per armadillo extra you will need 1 extra trident. Next, activate your brewing skills. You want to put 3 water bottles inside the brewing stand, and first of all nether warts, then some stone which you can get by smelting cobblestone, and finally 1 gunpowder. This will yield 3 splash potions of infestation and will give you tons of experience when using it with this farm. In order to use this farm in survival, you want to break this trapdoor, which should let all the tridents drop down onto the other trapdoor. Then you want to activate the redstone clock, and you want to place the cactus beneath the armadillos. Now take a 1 splash potion of infestation and throw it at the composter, and your farm should start. As you can see, all the silverfish will die and all the experience will get dropped, and you can simply collect it by just standing down here. Let's see how much experience I get with just 1 splash potion of infestation. After using just 1 potion of infestation, I got all the way to level 50, which is totally insane in just 3 minutes. If I helped you with this tutorial, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. This will help us both and you won't miss further content. Then we see us again in the next video. See ya! This is how to build this full durability tridents and drowns farm, which you have much better rates than any other regular automatic farm, and will also give you some good XP. The first mission you're gonna have is to find an ocean of any kind. Then you want to make sure that you got a block at the surface of the water, so right here, and outgoing from this point, you want to stack up another 64 blocks. Once you place down your stack of blocks, you want to drop down again, take out your ladders, and then you want to place ladders all the way up to the top of the tower. That makes sure that you have an easy access for the farm. And once you're back at the top, what you want to do is to extend out 4 blocks into this direction right here, and you want to extend out 3 blocks into this direction. This will give you an angle like this, and you want to place in some blocks so that you have a filled 4x5 platform like this. In the middle of the platform, in this spot, you want to place a double chest, and behind the double chest, in this position, a hopper. Once you have that set up, you want to place 3 blocks all around, so behind the chest, and then you want to place 2 blocks at each side of that small platform, which will leave you with this shape. Now, what you want to do is to place glass blocks on all these 6 blocks. You can also use regular building blocks, but it is easier to see into the farm when you get glass. As the next step, you want to take a dropper and place it on this block. Into the dropper, you want to put a nautilus shell, which you can get by fishing or by drowns themselves. So if you don't have a nautilus shell yet, this farm will deliver you one soon. Then you also want to place a button at this side of the dropper, which will allow you to drop the nautilus shell when needed. Then in these 5 positions, you want to place more building blocks or glass blocks, and also take a temporal block and place it in this position, and 2 more blocks right here in the front side. Then you can remove the temporal block again, and you want to place 2 buttons underneath these 2 blocks. This is because we still want to open the chest. Now you want to take out a water source, and you want to place the water source in the opposite corner outgoing from the hopper, so right here. This will make sure that all the items will float into the hopper and will get stored in the chest right here. Now we have created a 2-block wall that goes all around the killing chamber, and you want to add 20 more layers to that chamber. Now this should be looking something like this, so you have your 2 first layers and then 20 more on top, which will give you a total of 22 layers. Now as the next step, what you want to do is to place another rim all around the entire thing, but this time out of solid blocks, and you want to fill in the corners as well. Now once you got that first rim set up, what you want to do is to stand on top of that rim, and you want to place 1 temporal block going outwards. Then place a solid block on top and remove the first one. Then you want to create a rim that goes all around the first rim that we just created, and this second rim should have the size 6x6. Now go ahead and repeat this one more time. So place a temporal block, a solid block on top, remove the first block, and then place a rim all the way around the structure that we created. This will give you a total of 3 rims. Now you want to continue this process until you got 10 total rims. Now as you can see, I'm finished with all the 10 rims, and I got this hopper shape looking something like this. Then what you want to do is to come to the middle again, and you want to place a temporal block in this position. Then place a fence gate on top, 1 more in front, and 2 more at the side. You want to remove the temporal block, and you also want to open the fence gates. Now you should have covered the entire 2x2 hole that all the drowns will drop through with open fence gates. Now you want to get to the top of the hopper, and there we want to create an infinite water source. So just place some blocks down, place a rim all the way around, so you have a 2x2 hole in the middle, and then place 2 water sources in these positions, giving you an infinite water source. With this infinite water source, what we want to do is to place water in all these positions, and you want to place the water on top of the second to last layer, so the water does not flow out. Once you make sure that every single of these spots on top of the second to last layer is filled with water, you're finished with the water streams, and you can go ahead and remove the water source. If you just plan to use this farm at night, the farm is already finished, but for day usage we need to put a roof on top of the farm. And in order to do this, what you want to do is to stack up 4 blocks like this. These are just temporal, and now you want to place 1 block of leaves in this position. It should be right above the water. Now why we use leaves for this is very simple. If you use solid blocks for the roof, this will not allow drowns to spawn anymore. Now you can remove the temporal blocks, and now you want to place a leaf in every single position that is above water. So this means not just above the water sources, but also above the water streams. As you can see, now I'm finished with the leaf roof, and there are already drowns spawning. Now if I take away the night vision effect, you will see why. We have shadow that is caused by the leaf roof. If you want to further improve the rates of this farm, what you can do is to place another rim all the way around the roof that is 5 blocks long, and you can build this one out of leaves or solid blocks, because this will not interfere with the spawning of the drowns. Once you build that roof out of solid blocks, so not leaves, what you want to add is some torches. This will prevent other mobs from spawning. They should not interfere with the rates of the farm, but you should still do this as they could annoy you. Now that this step is done as well, we are finished with the entire building process of the farm. Now this farm is very easy to use in survival mode. I recommend you have a nice looting 3 sword, and you want to kill all the drowns that don't hold a trident, because they will never drop a trident. But once you get one that holds a trident, you can just press the dropper again, which will give the drown the Nautilus shell, and in most cases it will swap the trident for the Nautilus shell, and the trident ends up being in the large chest right here. You can then go ahead and kill that drowned again, which will give you the Nautilus shell back, and you can take it out of the chest and put it back into the hopper. As you can see, there are also drowns that spawn with the Nautilus shell in their hand, which will give us an extra Nautilus shell for the case that you don't already have enough. And you can take them out of the chest again and put them into the dropper. Now this process is very straightforward. About 90% of the drones will swap the trident for the Nautilus shell. Sometimes they won't. This is just how Minecraft Bedrock works. If this is the case, you can still go ahead and kill the drowned with the looting 3 sword, and sometimes it will still drop a trident, but not with full durability. With this method, in just a few minutes we already got 5 full durability and 1 less durability tridents, as well as some Nautilus shells, some copper, some ink sacs and rotten flesh. And I think this is a great farm to use. So if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate all your support. Then we'll see us again in the next video. See ya! Here's how to build the easiest Blaze XP farm for Minecraft Bedrock Edition. Now we're going to build this in the nether, and you need to find a fortress for building this. There we got these blaze spawners. This is where we build our Blaze XP farm. For the sake of building the farm, I recommend going into your settings and there select the difficulty peaceful, so you don't get annoyed by any hostile mobs. Now the first thing that you want to do is to go right next to the spawner and dig down by 2 blocks. Then go right underneath the spawner, so like this, and there you want to dig down 2 more blocks. So now you're right underneath the spawner and 4 blocks down. Then what you want to do is to go 4 blocks into any of these directions. So we dug 2 blocks into this direction and we need to go 2 more blocks. Then place another 5th block and stack up by 2. Now you want to do this at the opposite side as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and a wall. And then once you did that, you want to do this to the 2 remaining sides. As you can see, I did this to all 4 sides, and now you want to remove the middle block and replace it with a marking block. Now, you see, that there are a lot of blocks within the area where we want to build this farm, which is within the 4 walls that we created, and you want to remove all of them. I hope you get what I mean. You just have your 4 boundaries and the spawner left, your floor is leveled, and there are no other blocks within the farm. And now you want to go ahead and fill in all blocks that you need to create a perfect square platform. After doing this, you should now have a perfect 9x9 platform. As the next step, get on top of the spawner, and then you want to stack up by 3. You want to remove these 2 blocks and place a slab on top of the spawner. Now what you want to do with this block is to connect it with all 4 boundaries of the farm. So this would be the first one, and you want to do this at all 4 sides. By doing this, we outlined the entire farm because we want to enclose it on all 6 sides. We already got the floor, but we need to put in 4 walls and a roof. So as the next step, I want you to put in all the blocks you need to fill in the entire roof. If you want to spare some blocks, you don't need to put blocks in these locations because we will have the wall at this height and it already is closed without these corner blocks. Now as you can see, I got the roof, and as the next step I want you to fill in all the 4 walls. Now I am finished with building the entire cube, and as you can see it is kind of ugly because I built it out of stone bricks. As you can see with this design, you can also build this out of glass and nether bricks for example, or anything else besides wood. So if you want to make this look nice, this would be the way to go. But let's continue with building our farm. Because as the next step, of course, we can't get inside of the farm, and for this case, I recommend having a door. To put it in, just break 2 blocks in the wall of your cube and place it wherever you want to. Now, as the next step, what you want to do is to get right to the middle block. You want to break the block and 3 blocks around. You can break the blocks on either side, this depends on you. Then what you want to do is to dig down 3 more blocks, so 2 and 3. Now if you got anything open, then just block off the entire thing so you are enclosed on all 4 sides. Because now I recommend having an opening to this side, which is the side where the farm is connected to the nether bridge. So in this location you want to dig yourself a small tunnel that connects the bridge with the killing chamber, and that way you can easily access this spot whenever you want to use the farm. Now once you got that tunnel set up, you just want to dig some blocks upwards, so you're right on top of the bridge. As you can see, this is the case right here. Now go back down and grab some chests, because we now want to integrate the storage system to the farm. For this you want to place a double chest in this location, and as you can see I already broke some blocks temporarily, we will replace them later. Now grab 4 hoppers, and you want to place 4 hoppers in these locations. All of them should funnel into the chest. Now you can replace the blocks and make yourself a way upwards, and then grab some slabs and place a slab on top of each and every one of these hoppers. Then you want to grab some buttons and signs. You want to place 2 buttons on this side and 2 on the other one, and on top of each button you want to place a sign. The sign should be above the button, and that way our lava streams, which we will now create, won't flow down into the killing chamber. Now you want to grab some lava, and you want to make sure that you have a safe spot. You can go ahead and place blocks at this block height, that way you are safe whenever you place lava buckets, because we want to place 1 lava source in every corner of the farm, so right here as well, in this corner and the 4th corner. By doing this, the lava should cover the entire floor of the farm, but should not drop down into our killing chamber. And after you did this, you want to remove these safe blocks and you want to go out of the farm. Now your farm is finished and already ready to use. In order to use it, you will need to have the difficulty on hard, and I go in survival to show you how it works. In order to use it, what you want to do is to just go down to your killing chamber, and as you can see there's already a blaze that spawned. Now you just have to wait for the blazes to spawn. If you want to, you can go AFK for some time. And once you waited for a few minutes, there already be tons of blazes for you to kill. I recommend having a looting 3 sword in order to get the most outcome. Now you will collect all the experience automatically, and all the blaze rods will be in the large chest down here. I hope this farm helped you. If it did, please don't forget to subscribe, and then we see us again in the next video. See ya! this video, let's build this very easy cow farm that provides tons of steak and leather. Now in my inventory, I got everything that we need in order to build this farm. The first thing that you want to do is to remove 4 blocks off the floor in a square shape, so 2 by 2. Then you want to replace it with a double chest in front, and behind you want to place 2 hoppers that funnel into the double chest. Now at both sides you want to go ahead and place 2 blocks like this. Then what you want to do is to grab some slabs and place them above the chest at the upper side so you can still open the chest. Then what you want to do next is to take a dispenser and place it on top of this exact block right here and place another solid block in front. You want to place 2 solid blocks at the other side like this. And now you want to jump on top of the slabs and you want to place 4 blocks in these positions. Then you want to go ahead and you want to place 4 more blocks behind like this. Then you want to come to the last block that you placed and there you want to stack up by 2. Do the same thing at this block as well, and you want to take that 2 block wall all around the entire 2 by 2 square that you created in the middle. So let me just place some more blocks at this side as well, and this is the wall created. You also want to place 4 blocks in this position and also do the same thing at the other side, so you created a wall that goes all the way around the entire thing. Now in the middle we left some blocks open, and this is where you want to place a glass window so that you can see what is going on in the farm. And after you placed 4 blocks as a window, you could put 2 regular blocks on top. Next, you want to take some blocks and place 4 of them as temporal blocks in these 4 positions. We'll later remove some of them again. But now we want to take some water and you want to place your 2 water buckets right here and right there as well, which will make all the cows flow into our killing chamber later. Now before continue building the farm, we need to get some cows into the farm. In order to do this, what you can do is to place some blocks as a ladder in some shape like this, and then you want to take some wheat and just lure some cows into the farm. With wheat in your hand, the cows will automatically follow you on top of the farm and you can easily push them into the farm. Now in the end, you want to have at least 40 cows in your farm. You could do this by breeding or by just luring more into it. Next, you want to take some time and let the cows grow up, and then you can continue building the farm. The next step will be to place a temporal block in this position right here, and then place some fences above the cows. It will take some spam clicks in order to do so. But as you can see, I did it with this one, and then you just have to place them at the other sides as well. And as you can see now, I'm trying to do this with the 2 other blocks. And now as you can see, I placed fences above every single cow spot that there is, so all the 4 blocks that are part of the square. Next you want to grab yourself a pickaxe and you can remove this whole block right here. And then you can go down the staircase, and then what you want to do is to go into the farm by removing these 2 blocks right here. And as the next step you want to remove these 2 blocks, but you want to replace them instantly with buttons. So remove this one and replace it. And do the same thing on the other side, replace it, and then you want to grab 1 more button and you want to put it in this position right here. And then you can finally block the farm up again, and the last thing to do is to get 1 more button and place it right in this position right here. That way none of the lava can kill our items or our baby cows. And now you just want to start breeding all the cows that are above right here, and you want to do this as long as there are still hard particles appearing. As you can see, all the baby cows will sooner or later drop down right here, and you get experience for breeding them. You want to continue until there are no more hard particles appearing, as I already mentioned. Now after you did that, you want to wait until all of them, or at least some of them, grew up. When this is the case, you can start killing the cows to get all the leather and steak. In order to do so, you just have to press this button. And as soon as all adult cows are killed, you can press the button a second time to remove the lava again. As you can see, all the loot went into the chest. You can collect it and use it for your survival world. Now I hope this tutorial helped you. If it did, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. And then we see us again in the next video. See ya! You thought Enderman XP farms have to be complex and hard to build? Well, let me prove you wrong. This farm will give you tons of experience and all these ender pearls for only all these items. And now, of course, it is within the nature of Enderman XP farms that they have to be built in the end dimension, so you first of all want to kill the Ender Dragon before you build this farm. Then the first thing that you want to do is to take about 2 stacks of leaves, and you want to go to one edge of the end island, and then you just want to extend out all the way with all these 2 stacks. Now once that 2-stack leaf bridge is finished, what you want to do is to take out your chest, and you want to place a double chest right at the end of that bridge. Then take out some more leaves and place them all around the chest like this. And once you did that, you want to take out the hoppers. And then you want to go behind the chest. There you want to place 1 hopper in this position, 1 hopper at the side and at the other side as well. And then you want to place 2 rows of 3 hoppers, all funneling into the ones before. So all of these 9 hoppers should now funnel into the chest right here. Next, go ahead, take out your carpets and place 1 carpet on top of each hopper. By doing this, we ensure that none of the XP orbs will get stuck in our hoppers. As the next step, you want to take some solid blocks and you want to place blocks all around the hoppers. You want to do this all the way around, and once we are finished with the first layer, we can go ahead and just do this with a second layer. But this time what you want to do is to leave out this exact block, which should be opposite to our double chest, and in the front side you also want to leave out these 3 blocks. In these 3 blocks you want to place upper slabs like this, and by doing this we ensure that we can collect all the experience that have enough space to travel underneath the slabs. As the next step, you want to take some more blocks and place them in all 4 corners like this, and then just repeat this a second time. So you just want to place these 5 blocks, then 3 blocks in front and 5 more blocks at the other side, again leaving out the last side right here. Now at this exact block, which is opposite to our double chest, what you want to do is to stack out 20 blocks, so 3, 4, 5, and now you should be 20 blocks away from your platform. You want to take out some more blocks, and you want to extend out by 10 blocks into this direction right here, 7, 8, 9, 10, and do the same thing to the other direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Once you extend it out by 10 blocks into both directions, you want to turn to this side, and there you want to extend out by 20 more blocks, so 3, 18, 19, 20. And now you should have 2 sides of a rectangle, and you will just want to connect both of these sides by just adding 2 more sides to it. Now once you completed the 2 remaining sides of the rectangle, the very last step of the building process is to fill in this entire platform. And trust me, it is totally worth it to do, and you just have to place down the blocks. It is in fact pretty cheap to build, it just takes some time to place down all these blocks for the rectangle, but as said, it is totally worth it. As you can see, I'm now finished building the entire platform and we already got tons of Endermen spawning. The very last thing I recommend doing is to place some leaf blocks on top of the wall that we created, just to ensure that no Enderman will spawn on top of here and could harm you. And by now, the farm is already finished. You can now drop down onto your AFK spot, which is right here at the chest. There you want to take your sword, and for the best rates, you should have the looting 3 enchantment on it. In order to use the farm, the only thing that you have to do is stand right on top of the AFK spot, and then you just want to look all the Endermen in the eyes. As you can see, they will automatically start coming to the platform, and you now just want to hit them and kill them. As you can see, you will automatically get all the experience in your inventory, and as you can see, this actually is pretty fast, and all the items will end up being in the chest right here. If you did everything correctly, Endermen will start spawning very frequently, and you can just do this as long as you want to and get all the experience and ender pearls that you want to get. Now, of course, I hope this video helped you. If it did, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications. That way you won't miss any further content of my channel. And then we see us again in the next video. See ya! Here's the easiest fish and bones farm for Minecraft Bedrock 1.21. First thing you're gonna need is a block of soul sand right on top of the surface of an ocean of your choice. The best rates will be delivered from cold oceans. Outgoing from that, you want to extend out by 15 more soul sand blocks. Now we should have a line out of 16 sewer sand in total. Now extend out in this direction by 15 more. Once you got that, you want to connect both of these sides to a square. You now should have a 16 by 16 square and you want to fill that into an entire platform. Now once you constructed your 16 by 16 platform, what you want to do is to place a block right at the side of that platform and another one on top. Then you're going to construct a rim all around the entire platform. Make sure not to build on top of the platform itself, but one block offset. Now come to one corner of that rim and count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks of that rim. Then you want to turn inside and you want to count down another 8 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're gonna dig out this exact block right here, replace it with a magma block, and we also gonna dig out the 3 blocks that are in these positions right around the magma block, replace them with some other magma blocks as well. Now you will see that these are the 4 blocks in the middle of this platform, and you could check that by counting all the blocks that are around. So to this side 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we should have 7 blocks to all sides. Once you made sure that this is the case for you as well, you're going to need 2 water buckets and you want to fill this entire area with water. So you start by just putting water right here and in this position as well, and then just place them diagonally so you fill the entire area with water. This is very easy because you can take water out of the ocean and place it inside of your platform. And as you can see, the entire area now is filled with source blocks of water, and we also have these bubbles popping out. Now what you're going to do is to take some signs. You want to get on top of the magma square and you want to place some blocks on top of this magma square and also all around that square, looking something like this. Then you want to remove the 4 blocks that are on top of the magma block square, and you want to place some signs in there to block the water from flowing. Then you can just break these holder blocks again, and the water right there should turn into source blocks of water again. Now that you got the 4 blocks in the middle empty of water, you want to cover the entire platform with upper slabs. This won't remove the water, it is just for us to place some water streams above the water source blocks. By the way, as you can see, we already got the first fish spawning, a very good sign that our farm will work later as well. As you can see, these are my 3 last slabs that I have to place, and as you can see, the slabs are right inside the water but at the upper side, so not above the water and not at the lower side of the water. The next thing that you have to do is to take some blocks and you want to come to the corner of your platform, and there you want to place a triangle shape like this. You want to do this at all 3 other corners as well. Very simple step, just 3 blocks in all of the 4 corners. Now, in between these 4 corners, what you're gonna do is to take some stairs and you want to place them looking like this, facing inwards, and again on all 4 sides as well. Now that we made a rim out of stairs all around the platform, what you're going to do is again to come to the corner, and they want to place 2 blocks like this, then a stair right next to it, and another block. You want to do this on all 4 corners again, so place 2 blocks, then place a stair and another block, and it really doesn't matter which facing you do this, you just have to make sure that it faces inside and that you have the stair in this location, 2 blocks right here, and 1 more block right there. Then what you're going to do is again to take out your water buckets, and you want to fill all of these stairs with water. And once you filled all the outer stairs with water, what you're going to do is to fill these 4 stairs that are in the corner as well. And by doing this, we complete the water stream of our fish farm. By the way, if you easily want to get from the outside to the inside, just place 3 blocks right at the corner, and then as you can see, we can easily move inside. Now, wherever you are in the water stream, you should always get funneled to the inside. And the next step is to break all these temporal slabs that you placed and reveal the bubbles again. Make sure not to break any blocks off the wall. If you break them, you can just replace them. Now, when we broke the entirety of that slab platform, we are finished with the inside of the farm. The next step will be to build a storage system right below these magma blocks. And to do this, you want to dive right underneath these 4 magma blocks, place a temporary block right here, and a square mirroring the shape of the magma blocks above, and then you want to break that temporary block. At this point, you probably have to take some breath. Once you got enough air again, what you want to do is to place a double chest in front of that platform. You want to break 1 block behind the double chest, and you want to replace it with a hopper funneling inside of the chest. Next to it, place 2 more blocks like this. As you can see, this is the current shape. Now the last step that you have to do is to place a powered rail right behind the hopper. Then place 2 rails here, 2 more rails here, another rail on top of the hopper. You have to sneak to do this. Grab a block, place it behind the powered rail with a lever on top, flick it, and then place your minecart with hopper. You just have to push it once. And as you can see, now our system is fully set up. Now get on top of your platform. You want to align yourself with the magma square, and there you want to stack up by 12. 11, 12. Then you just want to move some blocks forward so you're directly above the center of the farm, just about here, and this is your AFK spot. And lastly, you just have to place some ladders going all the way up so that you can easily access this AFK spot. And then, in order to let the farm be working, you just have to stand on top of this exact block right here and just AFK for as long as you want. As you can see, fish will spawn, they automatically get killed, and all the fish and bones that the farm generates will end up in this double chest right here. You can easily collect it, and that's about everything for this fish bone meal farm. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, please don't forget to subscribe, and then we see us again in the next video. See ya! This gold XP farm is completely insane, providing a ton of experience and gold. It works for Minecraft Bedrock 1.21. If you like it, please subscribe. In order to build it, what you're gonna need is in this double chest, and in addition to all these items, you will need about a chest full of building blocks. Before building the farm, you should check that your fire spread setting is on, and also your difficulty should be on hard to maximize the amount of items gained. Now what you want to do is to come to one side and build out by 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks, then 3 in this direction, and connect it back up, and just fill in the entire platform, so you created another 4x4 platform at the side of your first one. Now in the corners, we want to place some powered rails. Count down 1, 2, 3 blocks, place another powered rail right there, and at the other side as well, so like this. Then what you want to do is to take some observers and place them in these 4 positions. You want to make sure that the eyes of the observers are each facing the powered rail in front of them, and the arrows should point inwards. And there you want to place some solid blocks so that you have solid blocks behind the redstone output of the observers, and you enclosed the entire thing like this. On top of these solid blocks, you then go ahead and place some regular pistons. Once you put in all your pistons, you want to place solid blocks in all these positions all around the entire Trident killer like this. But you want to leave open the front side, and this is where you want to place an upper slab so that you can easily collect all the experience later. Then, in front of this piston, you want to go ahead and place a lever. Make sure to place it at the side of the block and not at the side of the piston. So once you flick it, then the powered rail should get activated. Once you flick it a second time, this will create a redstone clock like this. Now shut the thing off for now and place in another platform right below our pistons, and then throw in your trident right here. As you can see, if we flick it, this will create a perfect trident killer. Again, shut it off for now, and then what you want to do is to come to the corner of the trident killer and stack up by 19. Right here we are at Y level 90, so we end up at Y 109. You want to do the same thing for all 3 other corners. Then connect up all the 4 towers you created, and as you can see, we have 4 windows, and you want to fill each one of them with glass blocks. If you don't want to use glass, you can also use regular blocks. Now as you can see, I'm finished with filling in all the windows. Now what you want to do is to take this exact structure and mirror it to all 3 other sides. So first of all, create all your 3 platforms that are 4x4 and out of solid blocks. Then go ahead and put in all your powered rails, your observers, solid blocks, your pistons on top of them, encase it, put in the floor, the 3 slabs in the front and also the levers at the side of the block. Now throw in all your 3 tridents, and now you just need to build the entire walls. As you can see, all my 4 towers are fully set up, and now the next thing that you want to do is to take out an empty locator map and you want to open it, and as you can see there, you can see your current position and where you are facing. Now what you want to do is to turn around so you're looking towards the south side, and there what you want to do is to go to the south tower and you want to extend out by 8 blocks, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you extend it out by 8 blocks to the south side, and you want to do the same thing at the east side as well, which is right here of course. So extend out by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 2 remaining sides should now be north and west, and you want to extend out by 5 blocks there. So 3, 4, 5, and at the 4th side as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These stripes of blocks have to be all 4 blocks thick, so you just want to add some blocks so you have a full platform to build on. In the end, your pattern should be looking like this. To the south and east side you extend it out by 8 blocks, and to the north and west side by 5 blocks, and the platforms are 4 blocks thick each. Now around all these 4 stripes of blocks you want to place a wall that is 2 blocks high. You want to make it going all the way around all 4 of the stripes. Make sure that you close up the end of the entire thing as well. Then you want to go to one of the 2 short sides and stack up by 2 at the end of it. Now place your first obsidian block on top, which is the first block of 4 nether portals. Now as you can see, this is the other short side, and in this direction we want to extend out some more blocks, and you want to stop once you align with the end of that side. You then want to extend out more blocks into that direction. And now the next corner is right here. As you can see, it is 2 blocks away from the end of the long side, marked with that lime green wool. So again, extend out with obsidian, then of course take it to the last side, and you want to again be aligned with the block that is 2 blocks away from the edge, again marked with that green lime wool, and then you just want to finish up this entire frame. Again, our obsidian frame should be aligned with the edge of the 2 short sides and should have an offset of 2 blocks towards the long sides. Once you made sure that you constructed this frame correctly, you want to go to the corner, and there you want to stack up by 22 obsidian blocks. Here we are. You want to repeat the same thing at all 3 other sides as well. Once you got the 4 corners set up, of course just connect the top of them. Now our nether portals are set up, and next we want to set up some water streams. In order to do that, first you want to come to one of these short sides, and there you want to place 2 rows of solid blocks below the nether portal. Make it going from one end to the other one, and of course everywhere 2 blocks thick. Now once you did this, come to this exact block, go out by 1, 2, 3, go up 1 block, and then all the way to the end of the thing, like this, and place 1 block right here. Now you want to repeat the same thing at the other side right here, so go out by 1, 2, 3, go up by 1, and then all the way till the end of the frame, and set a block right here as well. Then do the same thing at the other short side. So you want to place 2 rows of solid blocks below the nether portal. Again, all the way to both ends of the nether portal like this. Then go to one end, go out by 1, 2, 3, up by 1, and then until the end. And you want to do the same thing at the other side. So extend out by 1, 2, 3, go up by 1, and then just blocks until you are at the end again, and it looks like this. Now we want to create a wall in front of this entire thing. Start right here by placing 3 blocks, and then take it all the way to the end of the entire thing. After you've placed in your first wall, you want to repeat the same thing at the other side. So stack up 3 blocks and then take it all the way till the end of the line. And then once you did this, you want to do the same thing to the other short side as well. Now it doesn't exactly matter how you do this and which blocks you use, you just want to make sure that none of the zombie piglins can go out. And now we can put in our water. To do this, what you want to do is to come to this middle right here, and there you want to place some buttons. Of course, do this to the other side as well, like this. And then you can place water at this end right here, then in the corner right there, and in the other end as well, like this. The water should flow perfectly until the edge where other zombie piglins will drop down. And this is where we put in our next water streams. Before we do this, place again some buttons at the end and then put in the 2 water buckets. As you can see, it should flow perfectly to the edge again. And you want to do the same thing at the other short side, so put in 2 buttons right there to stop the water from flowing and put in the water streams. And our water streams are set up for the 2 short sides. Now for the long sides, it's roughly the same procedure. You just want to do this at the outside of the portals and not the inside. So again, the first thing to do is to place 2 rows of solid blocks below the entire portal. But make sure to leave out these 2 exact blocks, otherwise piglins might get stuck. Then go to this end, go out by 1, 2, 3, up by 1, and take the blocks all the way to the end of the frame. There you want to stack up by 2 blocks. Do the same thing at the other side. So there you want to go out by 1, 2, 3, stack up 1 block, and then place blocks all the way till the end, 2 blocks at the side. And now we just want to create a 3-block wall that is going all the way from one end to the other end. Once you did this, it should be looking something like this, and you want to mirror this exact thing to the other long side. Now to put in the water streams, again, come to the middle. There you want to place 2 buttons in the middle, and then you can go ahead, place a water bucket right here. At the other side as well, so right there. Then go to the middle right here, and you want to place some buttons again in these 2 positions, and place water at the other end right there. And you want to mirror this exact thing to the other side. We got 2 buttons, then we have the 2 water buckets, 1 in this end, 1 at the other side. Then we have 2 more buttons in these 2 positions, and finally some water right there. As you can see, we built all the water streams we need, and we now just need to set up some redstone. In order to do this, we want to come to the corner of the 2 long sides, so right here, and drop down. Then you are at this block, and you want to go to this exact block right here and stack up by 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you want to break these 3 blocks right here, and you want to go and put a lever below this block. Then what you want to do is to place a redstone torch on top, and then another block, then a redstone torch, another block, make sure it's a solid block, and you want to repeat this until you are at the very top of your farm. As you can see, now I'm at the exact level where our nether portals are as well. And then you want to go to the correct height, which is actually 6 blocks lower. So -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the correct height that we'll build the redstone on. Now what you need to do is to pick one side that you want to build first, and there you want to extend out by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then go back to the middle, and there you want to put down some redstone dust, and you want to check that it lights up, then you build everything correctly. Now at the end of your line, you want to go up by 1 block, and then 1 block into this direction right here, 1 block into this direction, where you want to place a sticky piston on top with a block of redstone in front. Then take some observers, go behind this sticky piston, and place it facing the sticky piston with the arrow pointing towards the nether portal. As you can see, this is the exact block where our nether portal is. 1 block offset is our observer. Another observer has to be placed in this position with the arrow pointing towards this side, and behind this observer you want to place a dispenser, and you can put a powder snow bucket inside. Then take out your redstone dust and place redstone dust on top of all of these blocks. These 2 of course as well. As you can see, your sticky piston should extend like this. Now what you need to do is to place a holder block on top of your sticky piston. Then 1, 2, 3 observers, all facing this exact direction at this side. And do the same thing at the opposite side. Then remove the holder block and replace it with another observer that faces downwards. After doing this, you want to surround these observers with a row of blocks looking like this. And you also want to put another rim on top of that layer of blocks, but make sure to leave open the front side, because this is where we want to place our doors. It should be 7 doors if you did everything correctly. And the last thing to do is to place a lava bucket on top of the middle observer. Now you can test run the entire system by removing one of these redstone dusts. As you can see, the portal will flicker on and off, and we have a redstone clock at that system. Of course, you want to replace the redstone dust, and then you want to mirror this exact design to all 3 other sides. Now, as you can see, I did this and the redstone system is fully set up. The last step is to build a little storage system, which we can do right here at the bottom. I'll have a very good gold farm item sorter in the video description, which you can build after just integrating some chests and hoppers into the system. And to do this, you need to break into the Trident killer, and there what you want to do is to dig out these 4 blocks and then these 2. Instead of these 2, you want to place a double chest and then just 4 hoppers, and all of them should funnel into the chest. So these 2 should funnel directly into the chest, and these 2 should funnel into the other hoppers. Then you want to re-throw the Trident into the chamber, and of course close everything up. Repeat it to all 3 other sides as well. And then you have 4 output chests for all the items, and there you can integrate the gold farm item sorter I'll have in the video description. Now, to use the farm in survival mode, what you need to do is to activate the 4 Trident killers by using just the levers, and then you want to flick this exact lever as well, which will activate the farm itself. As you can see, zombie piglins will start dropping down frequently, and you can easily collect all the experience by just standing in front of the empty slab right here. All the items will be in the double chest below or in the storage system you built in. As you can see, this is very OP and will give you level 30 within 1.5 minutes. I hope that you enjoyed this video and it helped you to build a good experience and gold farm in your survival world. If it did, please don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see us again in the next video. See ya! Here's how to build the best max rates iron farm for Minecraft Bedrock edition. First of all, you want to find an area without any beds, working stations or villagers. The first thing you want to do is to dig out a square hole. It should have the size 11 by 11 and it should be only 1 block deep. As the next step, you want to take some glass blocks and you want to place a rim all around the entire square hole that is out of your glass blocks. Once you did that, grab some solid blocks and you want to go to the exact middle block, which is this one, and you want to stack up 3 solid blocks. Now to each side you should have 5 empty blocks. This is to make sure that you really are in the middle. Now you want to break the 2 bottom blocks and then you want to extend out by 5 blocks into each direction. So do this at this side, do this at the 3rd side, and you also want to do this at the 4th side as well. Once you did that, what you want to do is to place some more blocks so you create a solid platform out of solid blocks, and this again should have the size 11 by 11. Next, you want to go to the middle again, and there you want to remove the middle block right there. Again, make sure that you have 5 empty blocks to each side to make sure that this really is the middle block that you broke. Next, you want to take 30 beds and you want to place them around the hole. You start by placing 4 in this shape, and then you just want to go all around the first circle with a second circle out of beds, and you want to do this as long as you have beds left. Now in the end, your pattern should be looking something like this, and once you did that, the next thing to do is to go inside of the hole, and then you want to grab your workstations and you want to go to one side and remove every other block and replace it with a workstation. This will account for 5 workstations, and you want to do this on all 4 sides of the entire thing. So in the end, you will have placed 20 workstations, but you still have 10 left. And now let me place the last ones. So now we have 10 workstations left to place, and you want to place these workstations in the floor. You can really place them wherever you want to, you just want to make sure that they're about equally spaced, so every villager will have enough space to work on their workstations later. Now you want to remove one of the glass blocks and replace it with a solid block, and then break the block above, and then you want to place 2 ladders, and on top you want to place a trapdoor. This way you can easily access this spot down here, and if you want, trade with the villagers later. Now, as you can see in my scenario, I have a village nearby, and you too want to travel to your next village or other source of villagers, and there you want to collect at least 2 villagers. You can do this by putting them in a boat and then use a lead to pull them all the way to your farm. Now they should automatically get connected to the workstations and the beds, and if they're stuck outside you can again put them into boats, remove some of the blocks that are part of the roof, and then drive them into this section yourself. Of course, don't forget to replace all the blocks you removed, and as the next step you want to just light up this space by placing at least 2 torches. And then you want to throw the villagers some bread or carrots or any other stuff that they can eat. As you can see, they will sooner or later start breeding, and they will do this as long as there aren't 30 villagers in our farm. Once they're done, what you want to do is to remove every villager that has a green coat, and then you want to wait until they're replaced, and you want to also wait until all the children are grown up. In the end, you want to have 30 working villagers in your farm. Once you have them, you can go out of the entire thing again, and then you want to take some solid blocks, you want to leave open the middle block and place blocks all around. So now what you want to do is to extend this circle by 7 more blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 into this direction. Do the same thing to the other side. 5, 6, 7. Then 7 more on this side. And 7 more on the 4th side. Once you did that, what you want to do is to turn the rest into a solid platform, but of course leave open the middle block again. And now once you have your 17 by 17 blocks solid platform, you want to go 1 block outwards and 1 block to the top and remove the first block. And then you want to place 3 more blocks, and now we want to create a rim all around the entire platform that has the size 4 blocks. This means on all 4 sides it should be 4 blocks thick. Next, you want to go 1 block out again and again 1 block to the top, remove the first one and create another rim, but this time only 1 block thick all around the entire platform that you already created. Once you set up this entire platform, you can start putting in all the water streams. I recommend having a nearby infinite water source looking like this in order to place in all the water, or maybe an ocean or something like this, so that you have infinite water. And in order to place down our water streams, you want to go to each corner and place these 3 blocks with these 4 blocks around. So you want to do this on all 4 corners. By having blocks in these positions, what you can do is to place water on top of all of these, and then you can place water in all these locations. By having these blocks placed down, we ensure that we don't create infinite water sources and we don't waterlog the entire platform, but instead have real water streams that push all our iron golems into the middle of the farm. And now you want to do this on all 4 sides again, and after doing this you can remove the 3 holder blocks again. Now that we got the water streams, we can add our killing mechanism to the farm, and this is very easy and straightforward. You just want to place a sign in the middle hole. Then you want to place 1 more sign on top and another sign on top. And now outgoing from this sign, you want to place 4 signs, 1 on each of every of the sides. And then you just want to place another sign on top of all of these 4 sides. In the end, your setup should be looking something like this. And this way we have a spot for our lava to be placed in, but prohibiting the lava from flowing out and destroying our water streams. And next you want to enter your villager's spot again, and then what you want to do is to come to the middle where you should still have the empty block, and then you want to place a hopper to one side, and to that side you want to place a double chest. This will be our entire storage system. All our items will be in this chest later. Now the next thing and last thing you have to do before you can start using the farm is to remove all of the iron golems that already spawned around the farm. In survival, use a source of lava because then the iron golem will not get triggered on you. Now the farm will already be working, but I recommend placing some torches all underneath your platform to prevent zombies and other hostile mobs from spawning. But apart from that, your farm is now usable and all the iron golems will already get killed automatically, and if you want to collect the loot, then you can simply do this by going to your villager spot and then just enter the chest, and we already have 8 iron ingots in this chest. This farm will be working automatically as long as you are in a 64 block radius to the farm, but if you want to, you can set up an AFK spot nearby, or you can just stand inside of your villager spot, maybe trade with the villagers, and the iron will come in automatically. That said, I hope this video helped you to get an infinite source of iron in your Minecraft survival world. If it did, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. This will help us both and you won't miss any further content of my channel. Then we see us again in the next video. See ya! Here's how to build the easiest ominous bottle farm for Minecraft Bedrock Edition. First thing to do is to find a pillager outpost. If you can't find one, check the link in the description. You want to start building this farm at the top of the outpost. There you want to mark this exact block with one stone brick or any other block that you use for building this farm. As you can see, it is 1 block away from the staircase. Then you want to go backwards into this direction, and you want to place a block that is aligned with the first one right at the outside of the outpost. You want to go around the corner and do the same thing at this side as well. Then in between these 2 blocks we're going to place another block. In order to do this, you just have to go 1 block diagonally away from the edge and then place the block right here. As you can see, it is also aligned with these 2. Now what you want to do is to break into the outpost at this location right here, and as you can see, there is the second level of the outpost. You want to break every block that is above the level of the floor right here. That means all the wooden blocks and all the stone blocks, but make sure to leave our marking blocks in position. At this point, everything should be looking something like this. As you can see, the outpost has 4 corners, and you want to go to the corner that is in the middle of our 4 marking blocks. There what you want to do is to place a chest right in this position. Again, it should be placed in the middle of the 4 blocks. Then at this side, you want to place a hopper that links with the chest. On top of the first hopper, you want to place another one that funnels into the first hopper. Now you want to grab some solid blocks, and you want to place solid blocks in these 3 positions, so you have a corner that points outwards. Then you want to place a block in this position, and then place a block every other block. That should be looking something like this, and you should end up having a windmill shape like this. Now grab yourself some pistons, and you want to place pistons on top of the freshly placed blocks. It should be looking like this, and as the next step you want to grab the redstone torches and place 4 redstone torches, 1 at each outside of the piston. Make sure they're placed on this side of the piston. Then you want to grab observers and place them this way. The arrow should point towards the piston and the eyes should point towards the redstone torch. Now grab a lever and place it at the side of this exact piston. You want to flick it 1 time, then you want to throw a trident at the side of this piston right here, and you want to flick it a second time. It should create a redstone clock and spin around. You want to flick this off for now. This will be the trident killer of our farm later. And what you want to do is to connect all these 4 blocks with a solid platform. This should be the outline of the platform with all 4 marking blocks in the corners, and now we're gonna fill this in, but we make sure to leave the 4 blocks above the trident killer free. That way it looks like this in the end, and it should be asymmetric. As the next step, you want to go to the outside. You want to place 1 temporal block and then 1 above, remove the first one, and now you want to go ahead and place a rim all around the entire platform. Now I do this with glass in this case because it allows you to see inside of the farm, but you can do this with every building block that you want. Once you did this with the first rim, you want to put a second layer on top, again going all the way around, and again it doesn't matter which block you use. Now in every of the 4 corners you want to go ahead and you want to place item frames. If you don't want to use leather for this, you can also go ahead and place scaffoldings, but this will cost you some bamboo and strings. Once you did this, you want to take some signs, you want to go to the Trident killer, and you want to place 2 signs at this side and 2 more on the other side. Once you did this, you want to place 1 more layer of signs. These signs will float above the first layer, as you can see, like this, but it will make sure that no water flows inside of the Trident killer. Because now we go ahead and place in our water streams, you can create an infinite water source or take something from nearby, and you want to place 1 source of water above each scaffolding or item frame that you placed in the corner. Once you did this, you should have a perfect water stream where everything flows towards the middle. The last step is to create an AFK spot for the farm. Now I will use scaffoldings for this, but you can also use blocks and ladders. But what you want to do is to go 40 blocks into the air. In my case, I'm at Y80, this means plus 40 I have to go to Y120. Once you are at that height, as you can see, there are already pillagers spawning, and what you want to do is to place some more blocks so you're right above the center of the farm, that means the Trident killer. As you can see, again I use glass so that no mobs will spawn right here. You can also take some solid blocks as well and place them above your head. This makes sure that no phantoms will spawn, and you can AFK for an infinite time. In order to start your farm, the only thing you have to do is to activate the Trident killer using this lever. Then you want to go up the scaffoldings to your AFK spot. Then you want to position yourself right above the Trident killer, and the farm will do everything for you. Pillagers and pillager captains spawn, but it also depends on the kind of outpost if they spawn in every of these 4 corners. Now in these 2 minutes of talking, let's see how much we got. As you can see, we already got some ominous battles going on, and we also have some crossbows and arrows and the banner. You can AFK for as long as you want. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe and definitely turn on post notifications. This will help us both, you won't miss further content, and I appreciate your support. And then we see us again in the next video. See ya! Here's how to build this simple raid experience farm in Minecraft Bedrock. There we give you tons of OP items, including totems, emeralds, and also enchanted books. By the way, this farm will give you a good amount of experience as well. Now first of all, let's talk biomes. I always recommend building this farm above an ocean because it makes sure that you don't have any other potential spawn spots for the raid mobs to accidentally spawn on. But surely you could build this above land as well, but there I'd recommend going to the highest point in your area. That means you should not have any high mountains in a 100 block radius. When you choose to build above an ocean, you will need to place some blocks at the surface of the water to start building the farm. Then once you found a good spot either above an ocean or above land, then what you want to do is to stack up a stack of scaffoldings. So here we are at Y63, that means we have to go all the way to Y127. Now by the way, if you don't want to use scaffoldings, you can also change them for regular blocks and ladders at the side of it, but I recommend doing it with scaffoldings as they are much easier to build with. Here we are at the desired height. And now the next thing to do is to build 2 blocks into this direction and 2 more into the other direction. Then you want to go 5 blocks, so 5 into this direction, and then fill in the entire platform. You have to build this entire platform, as I did, out of leaves because these are the only blocks where no raid mobs will spawn on top. You can't use slabs or glass or anything else because their raid mobs will spawn eventually, and we'll make sure that this is not the case. Then the next thing to do is to break these 2 blocks right here and replace them with a double chest. You also want to break the 4 blocks behind and replace them with hoppers, and all of these hoppers should be funneling into the chest in front of them. Now grab 4 mud blocks and place 1 mud block on top of each of these hoppers. Why you do this is very simple. Mud blocks aren't full blocks, so if you have any items on top of them, then they will go through the block into the hopper, and we don't need a hopper minecart to collect our items. Then you simply want to build a ring that goes all the way around our 4 mud blocks. Also on top of the chest, we will remove these blocks later, but it is much easier to build the Trident killer on top of here if we have all these blocks set up. And in order to build this Trident killer, you will need all these items right here. And what you want to do first is to place a piston in this position. Then you want to turn around, place a piston, and do this every other block, so looking like this should be a windmill shape. And then in between you want to place observers, so in all these positions right here, and with the arrow pointing towards the piston next to it. Then you want to place redstone torches in all the corners at the side of the pistons. And now we have created a redstone clock, which you can turn off by placing a lever right here and flicking it once. As you can see, this will stop the entire system. Finally, you want to throw a trident at the side of this piston right here, and our Trident killer is set up. Then you want to grab some more solid blocks, and what you want to do is to place a ring on top of the Trident killer. You can go all the way around the entire Trident killer, and then you want to place 5 more layers on top of that ring, giving you a total height of 7 blocks, including the Trident killer. As you can see, I did this. By the way, if you want to, you can leave out all the corner blocks. You don't need them for the thing, so you can spare some blocks if you want to. Now, what you also want to do is to place 2 blocks in these 2 positions right here, so right in front of the Trident killer. This will allow us to go 1 block up and easily collect the experience. You also want to break these 2 blocks and replace them with slabs, that way experience orbs can easily fit through. Also, we want to have an access to our chest, and you do this by removing these 4 blocks right here. As you can see, we can now open the chest but still go on top of the entire thing and collect the experience. Then what you want to do as the next step is to go up. Of course, you can leave out these blocks right here and in this corner as well if you want to, but we will need the corner blocks at the top level right here. Now that we have this square set up, you want to go to one of the 4 sides, just pick one of them and then extend out by 7 blocks. So 5, 6 and 7. Now that we did this, you also want to do this on this side as well. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now these 2 sides that we extended out 7 blocks on should be next to each other, so not opposite of each other, and that way we can easily connect these 2 sides and have a square. And then once you did this, you can fill this entire thing in to a solid platform. Of course, you want to leave open the 4 blocks that are above the Trident killer, and that way all the raid mobs will later be able to drop into the Trident killer. Now let's talk about the wall. We will need a wall around the entire thing. Now for that wall, you want to place blocks in these positions, so on top of the platform at the 2 sides that connect with the Trident killer. But on the other 2 sides that are far away from the Trident killer, you want to go 1 block out, and there you want to place the wall. Here as well, you want to go 1 block out and place the wall, so 1 block diagonally from the platform. That way we have a perfect size for the water streams, so that the water won't drop into the Trident killer. Now that we got a first layer, we also want to place 4 more layers on top of the entire thing, and this will give you a total number of 5 layers. We also want to place a 6th layer on top, which is out of leaves, because as I have already mentioned, this is the only block where no raid mobs will spawn on top, and by placing the layer out of leaves, we ensure that the raid mobs will only spawn within the desired chamber. Now, I already talked about the water streams, and this is the time where we want to put them in. In order to do this, you want to go to the opposite corner away from the Trident killer, and there you want to place a triangle out of solid blocks, 6 blocks in total, and it should look like this. Then you can go ahead and just create an infinite source of water, so like this, and then you can grab all this water to fill in the water streams. You want to place a 1 water source on top of the triangle in this position, and then simply fill in this line right here and also this line right there with water, and this will give you the perfect water stream. You want to go ahead and remove the infinite source of water and also the blocks around, and then you will see that the water will perfectly flow and stop at the edge of the Trident killer, will not drop down. Now the last thing to do for our spawning platform part of the farm is to go ahead and place a lava source for all the Revengers to be killed. In order to do this, you want to skip this block right here and place a sign in this position. It should be right at the height of your head. Then you want to place a sign in this position and right here as well. So now we enclose this air block in this position where we can place a lava. As you can see, the lava should not flow out. Then, in this position right here, you want to place a solid block. It should be 1 block away from the lava source, and then 1 more leaf block on top of that solid block. And this way, whenever the Revengers are in the lava source and they float up, they won't destroy the leaves. Now let's come to the last part of building this farm, and this is to get a villager into the farm. We want to get this villager right next to the Trident killer underneath the spawning platform. And there you want to set up some few things, and you want to go 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks away from the spawning platform. There you want to place 2 blocks and place a bed on top. Then remove the 2 blocks underneath the bed and replace them with leaves, and that way we ensure that again no raid mobs will spawn here. Then you want to place 3 blocks right here and take the wall all the way up to the top. And do the same thing at the other side as well. Again, everything should be out of leaves. Then you want to place 2 leaves in these 2 positions as well. And also you want to place a working station at the side of this chamber. You could choose either a fletching table or, for example, a composter would work as well. Now you will actually need to get a villager in this position right here. Now the easiest method to do this is to get a villager from any nearby village or villager breeder and then put it in a boat. Then use a lead and go up the scaffoldings to pull the villager with the boat all the way to the top of the farm where it belongs. And once you got him in a cell, you simply want to close up the entire thing with some leaf blocks. I also recommend having a torch inside of that cell so that no other mobs will spawn in here. Then break all the blocks you don't need anymore, and we have the entire farm set up. Now using the farm in survival mode is very easy as well. First of all, you want to flick on this lever to activate the Trident killer, and then you want to drink your ominous bottle to activate the farm. As you can see, we have the effect, and within 30 seconds or so, the raid will start. As you can see, all the raid mobs will drop into our killing chamber and get automatically killed by the Trident killer, and you will actually collect all the experience by just standing in front of that little hole we created right here. Now you really just have to wait until the raid is finished. All the experience will get to you automatically, all the mobs will be killed automatically, and all the items that they drop will end up being in this chest. As you can see, it is filled very quickly. So if you want to continue with a second raid, I recommend just extending the entire storage system with some hoppers and double chests below. It is very simple to do this, and you don't have to empty the chests every time. Now I hope this farm helped you. If it did, please don't forget to subscribe. This would help me very much as well, and I appreciate all your support. And then I hope we see us again in the next video. See ya! This right here literally is the best gunpowder farm in all of Minecraft Bedrock, providing tons of gunpowder and also the occasional ghast tier. It's super easy to build and much cheaper than a creeper farm, so build it right now. If you want to get the highest rates, I recommend building this farm in the Sugarcane Valley biome of the Nether, which is characterized with all the Sugar and Soul soil. The highest rates will also be above a lava lake, because then less other ghasts are interfering with our rates. The first step will be to get to y equals 119. You can do this with blocks and ladders, or as I will do it with scaffoldings. So once you are at the roof of the Sugarcane Valley, you want to dig upwards and you want to place scaffoldings continuously all the way to y119. By the way, if you want to turn on your coordinates, you can do this in the settings in the game section, and there you find the option to show coordinates. Now the next thing will be to dig out 50 blocks into one direction. 49 and 50. Once you did this, you want to turn around to one side, and there you want to dig another 50 blocks into one direction. 49 and 50. Now you dug 2 sides of the square, and what you want to do is to destroy all the blocks that are in between, so you have a perfect square. Now I dug out my 50 × 50 square. As you can see, I get some ancient debris right here, which is pretty nice. But as the next step, you want to grab some blocks and close up all the lava sources that you have in the area. And once you got a clear lava-free room, you want to clear out 2 more layers of the roof, so you have a 50 by 50 by 4 room. Now you probably noticed that mobs like skeletons will spawn in this room, and in order to prevent all mobs but the ghast from spawning, you want to grab a bunch of torches and just spam this in the room. You want to light up every single block in the room so that no other mobs but ghast can spawn. If you don't want to get in any trouble, you can also go into the settings and turn on the peaceful difficulty. That way you aren't annoyed while you build the last step of this farm. Because we want to make sure that we aren't hurt by the ghast, but we can still hit and kill them, and we can do this by just placing a layer of glass or leaves at this height. In the end, you should have an entire layer out of glass or leaves. There should be 1 empty above and 2 blocks empty underneath. And now our farm is already set up. In order to use it, I recommend taking a looting 3 sword for the maximum rates, and of course you have to change your difficulty back to hard mode. And as you can see, they will already start spawning, and that pretty frequently. You just have to run to them, kill them with your looting 3 sword, and it will give you some gunpowder. As you can see, there are already some more spawning. Just kill them and do this over and over again, which will give you pretty high rates for a gunpowder farm. Let me tell you that this farm will give you more gunpowder than a creeper farm would, but it also isn't AFK. This farm is super simple to use. I hope it helped you for your survival world. If it did, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Then we see us again in the next video. See ya! Here's how to build this super easy 1 emerald villager trading hall for Minecraft Bedrock edition. First of all, when building this trading hall, make sure to build it at least 100 blocks away from every other village. That also means 100 blocks away from every other iron farm and villager breeder. Now the first thing that you want to do is to decide how many villagers you want to have in this trading hall. I want to have 3 villagers in my trading hall, and that means I have to put down 4 posts. So the amount of villagers plus 1. And they should be spaced like this. By the way, of course, you can add villagers later if you want to. So as you can see, I have 3 slots in between these posts for my 3 villagers. Next, you want to go to the back side of the entire thing, and there you want to place solid blocks like this, 2 behind every post that you place down. In between of these blocks, you want to place upper slabs in all these positions. Just by the way, you can take any kinds of blocks and any kinds of slabs for this trading hall. This depends on you and whether you want to have it functional or aesthetic. Then we're gonna add 2 more layers on top of the blocks, and once you finish doing that, you also want to place 2 blocks above the slabs as well, so you have 3 blocks of height in all positions. And now that we got the blocks at the backside placed, you want to go to the front side again and add some crossbars in this position. I recommend using the same blocks that you used for the posts, so it looks nice and aesthetic. Now in every single of these cells at this block, you want to place a torch, so you have a light source and no hostile mobs will spawn and accidentally kill your villagers. As the next step, what we're gonna do is to go to our first cell and there dig down 2 blocks in these positions and make it 3 blocks long, so you have a 3 by 2 hole like this. Then you want to repeat this for the other cells as well. Of course, if you have more cells than me, do it for every single of your cells. Then at the back side, so at the last block of this hole, you want to place a piston. Make sure that it faces upwards and not to the front like this, so upwards like that, and do this for all holes again. And then in front you want to place 2 redstone dust pieces, again for all slots. Next, take some blocks of your choice and place them in these positions. So make sure to leave open the block above the piston so it can extend later. Then at the first block you want to place a lever, and once you go ahead and flick the lever, you will extend the piston. If this is not the case, then you messed up the redstone. At this point, a really nice thing to do is to take your block palette that you decided to use and change up some of the floor blocks of the area around the farm. As you can see, it looks pretty nice and will give you that extra aesthetic look. And another thing that you can add are some leaves at the side of the villager trader. This will further improve the looks of it. Next thing that you want to do is to go into one tunnel and then dig out these 2 blocks. Now you will have to sneak in order to fit through that gap and then connect all of the other cells to that tunnel, and this will be the tunnel where the zombie will live in later. That will zombify the villagers and will allow us to heal the villagers and to get perfect traits. But before we put in the zombie, we will put in the villagers first. And how you do this is very simple. You just have to create a track of minecart rails to your next villager breeder or village or iron farm, so the next source of villagers, and start by minecarting one villager to your villager trading hall. You want to push that minecart into its slot and break the minecart so the villager sits nice on top of the piston like this. As you can see, it can escape to the backside because there is a 1.5 blocks gap where the villager can't fit through. And now in the front side, what you're gonna do is to place the working station that you desire in this position. Now there's a number of useful villagers and you have to decide which villager type you want to have in your trading hall. That means you can use any type of working station as well in this villager trading hall. I always recommend the lectern because later you will have the chance to trade all kinds of enchantment books. Once you got that working station set down, you want to go up to the top of the roof. You want to put a solid block above the villager, and then you want to put a bed on top of the roof right above the villager. Then go ahead and flick the lever right here, and the villager should sooner or later start to connect with the bed and the working station, as you can see. Once that is the case, and really just then, you can take the second villager to this villager trading hall and repeat the entire process. By putting them in their slots one by one, we make sure that they're connected to the right working station that you desire and also the correct bed that is above them. Otherwise, you just have a villager mess and no trading hall. Now once you got all the villagers in their spot and made sure that they're connected to the working station in front of them, then you have the possibility to lock traits. This is important especially for librarian villagers, because as you can see, they will trade the enchantment books, but you might not like the enchanted book they trade. Fire Aspect is not that good of an enchantment, so what you can do is to break the working station and replace it, so the villager will refresh the traits. As you can see, now it doesn't trade any enchanted book at all, so repeat this one more time and let's see. And now this is what I'm talking about. Sharpness 2 is probably an enchantment that you like, so you can now go ahead and lock the villager by just trading with the villager like this, and now all the traits are locked in place. You can do this for all the villagers if you want to. This is important because they will refresh their traits when they are zombified. So if you have a good enchantment that you don't want to lose, you definitely want to lock the traits. And now we're gonna care about the zombie. The first thing that you want to do in order to get the zombie in place, and you can do this at day, is to break some blocks in this position so you have access to the tunnel. Then what you want to do is to create a minecart track, and it should look like this and should go all the way out, and then place a minecart on top of that track. And now you just have to wait until it's night, and now you just have to lure a zombie to the villager trading hall and make it sit in the minecart like this. Then you can push it all the way down into the villager trader like this. Then take out an anvil and also a name tag and rename the name tag to whatever you want to. Then what you're gonna do is to name the zombie with that name tag, and this will ensure that the zombie will never despawn. Also at this point it is very important to have your game on the difficulty hard. Otherwise villagers might die in the process of zombification, but on hard mode this will never be the case. And now if you want to, you can wait until it's day again. Now what we're gonna do is to remove the minecart track right here, but we're gonna leave it in the tunnel. At one end you wanna place down a powered rail and also a redstone torch next to it, and at the other side you want to place a powered rail as well, but there you don't want to place a redstone torch next to it, because here you want to have a piece of redstone dust next to the powered rail and then a lever above the entire thing. Then close up the rest of the tunnel again. Of course, replace the blocks that you broke. And now when you flick the lever, what should be the case is that the zombie should minecart from one end to the other end and all the way back. You can deactivate this if you want to just by flicking the lever. At this point, your villager trader is ready to use, and if you just want to trade normally, you can go ahead and do this. But if you want to have perfect 1 emerald trades, this is what you want to do. First of all, you want to check that you are in the difficulty hard. This is very important, otherwise villagers might die. Then I recommend having a chest nearby where you put all the splash potions of weakness and golden apples into that you're gonna need for zombification and healing. Now we're gonna need 1 potion and also 1 golden apple for 1 cycle. First of all, you want to go to the backside and activate the minecart trail, so the zombie will travel around and will be able to hit all the villagers in this trading hall. Then you want to flick the lever in front of the villagers that you want to have the discount on. As you can see, the zombie will kill the villagers and will zombify them. Then you want to flick the lever again, and now throw a potion of weakness onto that zombie villager and give it a golden apple. Now here's a simple trick to insta-heal the zombie villagers. Just save and quit your game and go back into the world. Now let's see, and as you can see, we insta-cured the villagers like this. And now we have the discount at all our trades. We're now able to trade the Sharpness 2 book for only 1 emerald and a book, and we also have the discount on all other trades. And by the way, this also accounts for all the other villagers. The discount is not that strong, but as you can see, we have 2 gold instead of 3, and right here we have only 5 pumpkins instead of 6. And if you want to have an even higher discount, just repeat the zombifying and healing process, and this will give you the perfect trades for your villager trading hall. Now at this point, I hope this tutorial helped you for your survival world. If it did, please don't forget to subscribe. I always appreciate your support. And then I hope we see us again in the next video. See ya! Here's how to build the only fully AFK 0-tick sugarcane farm for Minecraft Bedrock Edition. In order to build our automatic sugarcane farm, you want to look for a good flat area to build this farm on. Then take some solid blocks and place a row out of 10 blocks in front of you. Then in front of that row, what you want to do is to dig a trench that is 2 blocks deep, and this trench should go all the 10 blocks along the line of blocks. After you dug that trench, you want to take some sticky pistons and place the sticky pistons inside of your trench, and again all the 10 blocks along the line. Next up, take out your sand blocks and place sand on top of our sticky pistons. Then skip the row above and place another row out of solid blocks in front of the sand blocks. Now on top of the first row of solid blocks that you placed, you want to place another row of sticky pistons that points towards you. On top of the other row of blocks, you want to place another line of sand. Then you want to go behind the sticky pistons right here and place a row of solid blocks. On top of these solid blocks, you want to place some redstone dust all the way to the end of the row. Next we want to go to this end, so the right end of the farm, and there we're gonna build the motor of the farm. In order to do this, you want to place 3 blocks like this and break the middle one. This should leave you with a V or U shape, whatever you want to call it. And in the middle of this shape, you want to place a redstone repeater that you want to click once, so it is set up like this. Now in this position right here, place some single redstone dust, and in this position you want to place a redstone torch, and this should give you a redstone clock with the sand being pushed around. You want to shut this off by placing a lever in this position and flicking it once. As the next step, we also want to connect the sticky pistons that are below the sand right here. And in order to do this, stand in front of the redstone repeater and place another redstone repeater right in this position pointing outwards. You want to click it once again, and then you want to place 3 redstone dust in these 3 positions. You want to break this block right here and also these 3 blocks, so you're right at the side of the first sticky piston. And then you want to dig a tunnel all the way till the end of the row of sticky pistons. Now once you reached the back side, block that up again, and then you want to connect every single sticky piston with redstone dust to the main redstone line. This should make all the sticky pistons down here extend as well. Now you also want to replace this exact block right here, and then as the next step you want to place a redstone torch at the side of this sticky piston. Now we're gonna need 2 observers, and you want to stack these 2 observers on top of the redstone torch with both of the arrows pointing upwards. Then take solid blocks and place a line of solid blocks on top of the sticky pistons and another line on top of that. This should be at the same height as the 2 observers. On top of this wall, you want to place a row of regular pistons. Then you want to place a solid block on top of the observer output, and now you want to place redstone dust on top of the block and also all the pistons that you placed. As the next step, we will focus on the conversion system from kelp to bone meal. And in order to do this, what you want to do is to go to this corner of the farm and place a dispenser right in this position right here. It should point to this direction. Once you got that dispenser set up, you want to take out hoppers and place a line of hoppers in front of the farm that funnels all the way into the dispenser at the end of the line. On top of every single of these 10 hoppers, you want to place composters. These composters will convert the kelp into bone meal. And above you want to place another line of hoppers. You can't just click on the composters in order to do so, but you have to sneak and also click on the inside of the composter, then you can easily place the hopper, and as mentioned, all the way till the end of the farm, so 10 hoppers in this line. Then behind the hoppers you want to place a line of solid blocks, and behind the solid blocks place another line of sand. At this point you also need 2 side walls for our farm. In order to build them, you want to place 3 blocks like this at this exact height, and then you also want to place 3 more layers to this, so you have a 4x3 wall. You want to do this at the other side as well, so place your 3 blocks and make it 4 blocks high and fill in the entire wall, and this gives you 2 nice walls. Now in between of these 2 walls we're gonna do following. We want to take some stairs, and you want to place a stair like so. So the opening should point downwards and into this direction. And you want to place a row out of these stairs all the way to the other side of your farm, so you placed 10 stairs all in the same direction. Now we're gonna activate some little sign action, and you want to place 1 sign in front of every single of these stairs. And after you got the first line of signs set up, you want to place another line of signs in this position right here. So place a first sign, then you want to sneak, place a second sign next to it, and you want to do this all the way to the end of the farm. Next, on top of all the hoppers, you want to place glass panes. This will ensure that none of the water that will later be in the farm will flow out. But before we can place in our water, very important is that you get behind the farm, and you want to place a line of solid blocks behind the pistons, and also go to this side right here and place a block at the side of this piston. In order to fill in all the water that we need for the farm, I recommend having an infinite water source. This looks something like this, and you can take out all the water that you need. You want to waterlog every single of these stairs, and after you did that, every single of the pistons. Now you have 2 rows of water already, and you want to have a 3rd row of water on top of the sand blocks. And this will allow us to plant in the kelp into our farm, a row out of 10 kelp. Now if you did everything correctly, the bone meal part of the sugarcane farm is already finished. If you test the system, so flick this lever, then this should create tons of kelp every time the pistons extend, and the bone meal that is created should end up being in this dispenser right here. Now if that works for you, you can continue with the sugarcane part of the farm. And in order to do this, you want to come to the dispenser right here. You want to leave this block open. This is the block where the sugarcane will be later. You want to remove these 3 blocks right here. You want to place a double chest in these 2 blocks and a hopper in this hole right here. Then take a water bucket and waterlog this hopper. This will allow you to place the sugarcane in this position. Now we also need to automatically harvest the sugarcane, and we do this with 2 pistons. You want to place a solid block in this position and 2 regular pistons in these 2 positions right next to the bone meal farm. And at this point we can already enclose the entire thing, so place walls all around the farm. I do this with solid blocks right here, and also with some glass blocks on top of the chest right here, because this will allow us to see into the farm, still open the chest, and we also need empty blocks above the hopper for all the sugarcane to drop in. You also need a roof, so some blocks right here. And now we just need some more redstone to connect the pistons, and in order to do this, you want to place 2 solid blocks in these positions, 1 solid block right here, then some redstone dust on top, another redstone repeater in this position with 2 clicks, so in this third position right here. Then you want to place a redstone dust right here and also 2 more in these 2 positions, so the dispenser is connected as well. Then some more redstone right here and there, and also a line to the redstone clock, and you want to finish it up with a redstone torch in this position. And at this point, congratulations, you finished your 0-tick sugarcane farm that is fully automatic. In order to use it, the only thing that you have to do is to flick this lever right here, and let's see how it works in front. All the kelp is converted into bone meal. This bone meal is going into the dispenser and automatically dispensed into the sugarcane, letting the sugarcane grow, and the pistons automatically harvest all the sugarcane. Now all the harvested sugarcane will end up being in the double chest right here, and as you can see, it is super fast. I definitely recommend building this farm. If you liked the video and it helped you, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications. Then I hope we see us again in the next video. Thanks for all the support. See ya! Here's how to build the easiest fish XP farm for Minecraft Bedrock Edition. In order to build this fish XP farm, the first thing I want you to do is to place down a chest, and then you want to place 5 trapdoors around the chest in all these locations. Now you want to flick every single one of these trapdoors. Then what we're gonna do is to dig down 4 blocks in front of the chest, and you want to make that hole 4 blocks long. So these are 4 blocks and you have a 4 by 4 hole. Now at the side opposite to the chest you want to place some ladders so that you have an easy access to this hole, and in the middle of that hole you want to place a double chest. Right in front of this chest right here, what you want to do is to place a hopper. And you want to make sure that the hopper is linked with the chest. Then you want to place a temporary rail on top of the hopper and a minecart with hopper on top of that rail. Next you want to go ahead and break the rail like this. Then you want to place a sign that is in the same location as the minecart with hopper is, so they are in the same block. And then place a second sign in this position. Should be right above the first block of the double chest. Then you can go ahead and place a lava source in this position. The lava should not move around, should not flow around, because it is held in place by the signs. Then you're gonna take some solid blocks and place them in these 2 positions. I do this with some grass blocks, so it is nice and aesthetic. And if you want to, you can also go ahead and remove that ladder and replace it with a trapdoor, so everything is smooth with the surface. Now the last thing that you want to do is to place a banner in front of the chest. Then you want to place a water source behind the chest and also waterlock the chest. With this step, the entire fish farm is finished. In order to use it, you can take a regular fishing rod, but for the best trades, use one with Luck of the Sea 3 and Lure 3. Then what you want to do is to aim at the top side of the banner and cast out the fishing rod. Now just wait for a few seconds, and as you can see, we already fished something. Now whenever you fish something, the fishing rod will automatically retract, and that way you will never lose any loot no matter what. Another great advantage of this fish farm compared with regular fishing is that with the lava, the fishing rod will never lose any durability, so you don't have to use unbreaking or mending enchantments on your fishing rod. All the XP will be granted you automatically, and all the loot will be in the double chest below. And as you can see, we also got some treasure items like the saddle, the lily pad, or an enchanted bow. It's just a myth that this farm doesn't provide treasure items. As you saw, this really isn't the case. So now you can use this farm for all the mending books that you need and all the other items that you want to fish. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate all your support, and then I hope we see us again in the next video. See ya! This right here is the most versatile farm in all of Minecraft Bedrock, being able to produce kelp, bone meal, fuel and experience. Here's how to quickly build it. The first thing you want to do is to place down a line out of 4 solid blocks with sticky pistons on top. They should point towards you. In front, you want to dig a trench that is 2 blocks deep. It should be 4 blocks long like this. Now in this hole, you want to place another line out of sticky pistons, this time pointing upwards. On top you can place some sand. As the next step, you want to place 4 solid blocks in these positions and also sand on top. Should be aligned with the sticky pistons so they can pick them up later. As the next step, you want to place another line of blocks in front of the sand right here and also behind the sticky pistons. Then place 3 blocks in this pattern, so you have a T shape, and you want to break the middle block. You want to replace that block with a redstone repeater that points into this direction, and also you want to click it one time, so this redstone torch right here is in the second position. Then go ahead and place some redstone dust in this position, and also a redstone torch at the backside, and this should give you a redstone clock. You wanna take a lever and place it at the backside and flick it off so the redstone clock stops. Next, jump on top of here and also place redstone dust on top of these 4 blocks to connect all 4 sticky pistons to our redstone system. If you now activate the lever right here, then all 4 pistons should extend. Now at the same time, we also want to connect the 4 sticky pistons that are beneath the sand right here. And in order to do this, you want to go to this position, turn around and place a redstone repeater that you want to click one time. Should be right in this position. And then you want to place redstone dust in these 3 locations. Now you want to dig down right here and also remove these 2 blocks right here and these 2. So you are right next to these sticky pistons. You want to dig out a tunnel so you're right at the last sticky piston, so the 4th one. And then just connect all 4 sticky pistons with redstone dust to our redstone system, and as you can see, they also extend. And then you just want to replace the block that you broke right here. We continue our build with a redstone torch in this position, so right next to the sticky piston right here, and 2 observers on top of that redstone torch. The arrow at the side should point upwards. Next, what you want to do is to grab a solid block and place it on top of the redstone output of the observer. Then place a line of solid blocks on top of our sticky pistons, add a second layer to that, and the third layer should be out of pistons that point into this direction right here. Then you want to continue with another line of sand in these 4 positions and a solid block line in front. At this point, you want to make sure that you have a block in this position and also 1 block behind every of these regular pistons. On top of our regular pistons, we're gonna place some redstone dust and also on top of this block to connect all the 4 pistons to our redstone system. Then grab some solid blocks again and we're gonna add some walls to this farm. In order to do this, place 3 solid blocks right here and add 3 more layers to that for a total of 4 blocks. Then you want to do the same thing at the other side. So 3 blocks right here and then add 3 more layers to have a solid wall. In between of our 2 walls, we're gonna add some stairs in these 4 positions. And in front of each of these stairs, you want to place a sign. After we got a first line of signs, you want to add a second line of signs in these positions. In order to place another sign on top of the first one, you're gonna have to crouch down. Now of course, we also want to collect all of the kelp that is harvested in this farm later. We're gonna add some hoppers in these 4 positions. And on top of the 4 hoppers, you want to place some glass panes looking like this. And then you can already go ahead and create an infinite source of water looking like this, so that you have enough water to fill in all the water sources for this farm. You want to waterlog all of these 4 stairs. Then you want to waterlog all of these 4 pistons. And there it becomes very important that you surrounded everything with blocks so no water can drip out. And then you also want to place 1 source of water on top of all the 4 sand blocks right here. This is our water system set up, and now you can go ahead and plant all the kelp. Now you just have to remove the infinite source of water if you want to, and our farm is fully set up. Now if you go ahead and flick on this lever, you can test the system, and as you can see, this is what should happen. So all the kelp is harvested and will end up being in the hoppers. So the basic farm is set up. But now let me show you how to get all the resources that I mentioned out of this single farm. Now of course, if you want to use this farm as a plain kelp source, what you have to do is just to remove these 4 blocks and replace them with double chests. If you turn on the farm, then all the kelp will end up being in our double chests and you already have a good collection system. But what if you want to use this farm as a quite insane bone meal farm? Well, in order to do this, what you have to do is to place a chest in this position. You can also place a double chest if you plan to run this farm longer. Then what you want to do is to place 4 hoppers and all of them should be funneling into the chest right here or into the hopper that is in front of them, of course. Then you want to break the blocks that are in between the hoppers and replace them with composters. And our farm is already set up. This will turn all the kelp automatically into bone meal. Well, as you can see, all the composters are automatically filled up and all the bone meal that is harvested will automatically end up being in the double chest right here. Now last but not least, let's turn this kelp farm into a fuel and experience farm. So if you want to get XP all the right kelp blocks, what you have to do is to place a double chest in this position again. This time you also have to place hoppers in these 4 positions that funnel into the chest. But now after you broke the 4 blocks right here, you want to replace them with smokers. Also, you want to place 1 lever in front of all of these 4 hoppers. Now you will need to put some fuel into the smokers beforehand to activate the farm. But as mentioned, this farm will generate fuel itself, so therefore you don't have to refuel. Now in this case I used some lava buckets because they're easy to get in my opinion, but you can also use wood or coal or whatever you want basically. Now if we turn on the farm, what happens is very simple. All the kelp that is farmed will be dried in our smokers right here. Now after just a few seconds you will already have more than enough dried kelp to craft dried kelp blocks. I recommend having a crafting table nearby, so just take out all the dried kelp and turn it into dried kelp blocks. Then you can simply go ahead and put the dried kelp blocks into the smokers, and of course while using the farm you want to make sure that the smokers will never run out of dried kelp blocks as fuel. Now this is the fuel part of the farm, but how to use this as an experience farm? Well, in order to do this, you have to let this farm run for a few hours. This will give you the most experience, but of course you will also get experience if you just collect the XP after a few minutes of farming. But in order to do this, what you want to do is to flick these 4 levers in front of the hoppers. This will lock the hoppers, and now whenever an item is dried, it will stay in the slot of the smoker. Then you just have to take it out, and as you can see, it got me some experience. Now I let this farm run for only 2 minutes or so. If you let this farm run for hours, then you will easily get to level 30. And remember, you can use this farm AFK, so you don't have to do anything, and the XP will build up by itself in the smokers. However, if you want to be on the safer side, stay in a 64 block radius to the farm, or turn off the farm whenever you leave that radius, because sometimes the sand might fall down. This is because the farm itself is somewhat glitchy, but if you follow my instructions, then this won't happen to you. At this point, I hope the farm helps you in your survival world. If it does, please don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate every kind of support that I get, and then I hope to see you again in the next video. See ya! This triple Armadillo XP farm for Minecraft Bedrock is totally insane and will give you more than 100 levels within only 3 minutes of using, so build it right now. Now this XP farm relies on our little friends, the armadillos. So I guess it makes sense to build the farm in savanna or badlands biomes, because this is where these guys will spawn. For the case that you want to build the farm at your base, you can also use minecarts and boats to transport them. Before we need the armadillos, let's start building the farm. So, in order to build the farm, what you need to do is to break 4 blocks in the floor like this. It should be a T shape. Now at these 3 positions, you want to place some sand blocks, And in this hole, we now want to get ourselves a zombie. In order to do this, I recommend placing 4 temporary blocks like this. You can use dirt or anything else, and then 2 more in these 2 positions. Then add a trapdoor in between and flick it so the zombie will drop into the hole. Now in the night, just lure the zombie to your little construction, jump over the trapdoor, and the zombie should automatically drop into the hole. Next, you want to take out a name tag and an anvil, and you want to rename the name tag in the anvil. You can choose whatever you want. I take zombie for simplicity. And then you want to make sure to give the zombie the name tag. This will make sure that the zombie will never despawn, because hostile mobs will vanish when they are too far away from players. After doing this, you want to place a wall above the zombie, then jump upwards. You want to go ahead and place some leaves on top of that wall, and a solid block above the leaves. Then it should look something like this, and you can wait for the day to continue building the farm. At this point, you can go ahead and remove all the holder blocks that you used for the zombie to drop into the hole, and also the trapdoor. But you want to have 1 holder block on top of each sand block. Now on top of each of these holder blocks, you now want to go ahead and place 1 composter like this. Now we want to get our armadillos and put them into the composters. I recommend having 3 armadillos in each of these composters, but you can do more or less if you want to. The more you do, the more experience you get. In order to get the armadillos into the composter, you can place a temporary block right here and right there, and then you can go ahead and construct a minecart rail system all the way upwards to the composter. Also, place some blocks around the composter so the armadillo will nicely fit into the hole of the composter. So let's say you got your armadillos around, just continue your railway, place a minecart on top, 1 armadillo will hop in, you just have to push the minecart upwards. Once the minecart is at the back of the track, you just have to break the minecart, and the armadillo will nicely fit into the composter. Then repeat this 2 more times, or of course how many else you want, push them all the way upwards and let them drop into the composters. After you finished 1 composter, you want to do this with the 2 other ones as well. Just a little side fact by the way, as you can see, the armadillos will curl in, and this is because of the zombie, which is a hostile mob, and whenever armadillos detect hostile mobs, they will curl in. This causes them to regenerate faster and take less damage, which we will use in the farm. Once you got all the armadillos in each of these 3 composters, you can go ahead and break all the holder blocks, so the dirt blocks right here, and also all the rails. We will not need them any longer. Make sure to also break the blocks beneath the composters. We will also not need them anymore. As the next step, what you want to do is to place 1 holder block on top of each of these composters. Then you want to place solid blocks in these 2 corners. Now I will use glass for this because it looks nice and you can see what's going on in the farm, but you can also use regular blocks. Now take some fences and place 1 in this position, 1 at this side and 1 at the opposite side as well. This right here is the front side of the farm, and there you want to place 3 trapdoors in these positions, and then you can go ahead and break the 2 dirt blocks. You can now go ahead and flick the trapdoors as well. Of course, you will also need to break this dirt block right here, and then you want to take a water bucket and waterlog the leaves in this position, so the water flows nicely all the way to the fences, and then on top of each of these water streams, you want to place 1 solid block looking something like this. As the next step, what you want to do is to stand on top of our little platform right here and place a trapdoor on top of each of these 3 fences. This is very important because the trapdoors have to open this way. As the next step, we want to get ourselves some tridents. Now, for my 9 armadillos within this farm, we will need 9 tridents, so 1 trident per armadillo. This may sound expensive, but I have a very good trident farm that will give you that amount within minutes of using the farm. The link to that is in the description if you want to build it. Now, if you have another number of armadillos in the farm, of course, you will have to adjust the number of tridents as well. In order to place the tridents, what you want to do is to place a trapdoor on top of this trapdoor right here, flick it, and then throw 3 tridents, because we have 3 armadillos in the composter, against that trapdoor. Then go ahead and break the trapdoor. All the 3 tridents should drop onto the other one. Then you want to repeat this 2 more times. Place a trapdoor, flick it, place the tridents, throw them against the trapdoor, break the trapdoor, and repeat this a 3rd time. At this point, if you accidentally collect any of the tridents, you want to make sure to replace them, otherwise the farm will not work later. Once you got all the tridents in place, we will finish everything off with a little redstone action. In order to do this, come to the backside of the farm, and there you want to place 4 glass blocks or any other building blocks in these positions. So you have 5 glass blocks in total right here. Then what you want to do is to place a lever in this position and a redstone comparator behind. You want to click on that comparator so it lights up like this. Then place 3 redstone dust all around and also place 1 redstone dust on top of each of these building blocks right here. Now when you go ahead and flick the lever, then all the trapdoors should be powered by the redstone clock and you should hear the sound of the tridents. This will mean that the farm will work later and all the mobs in the farm will get killed automatically. This is because the farm relies on silverfish, which deliver all the experience that you want. Now at this point you can go ahead and flick off the lever. We tested the farm and it should work later. And at this point the farm also is almost finished. The last step is to take 3 cactus or cacti or whatever you want to call it, and you want to place the cactus on top of the sand blocks. Now you'll hear that the armadillos hurt, but don't worry, they won't die because they regenerate faster than they hurt. For this to happen, it is very important that the zombie is already in place, otherwise the armadillos won't curl up and they will die. But before we can actually use the farm, which is totally insane, trust me, you will need some splash potions of infestation. And in order to brew them, you will need some water bottles, some nether wart, a stone, a gunpowder, a blaze powder as fuel for the brewing stand, and the actual brewing stand. Now these 3 splash potions of infestation will equal 6 minutes of experience, and this is far more than 100 levels. But if you still want to collect more experience, you can also brew more than 3 bottles of infestation. Now, in order to brew them, what you want to do is to place down the brewing stand and put the fuel inside. Then place the water bottles inside the brewing stand and first of all put in some nether wart. Next up, continue with some stone and finish it off with some gunpowder. And this, my guys, will give you splash potions of infestation. Now as you can see, I'm in survival mode and I have no experience levels at all. So let me show you how this works. In order to start the farm, you want to flick this lever to start the Trident killer. Then you want to take out a splash potion of infestation and throw it directly against the middle of the wall right here. This will start the farm, all the silverfish will spawn and all the experience will lay down on the floor, and you just have to collect it by going all the way around the farm. The experience just spills on the floor and you just have collected. It is so insane and I can't even find the words to describe this. So let's just wait until the effect fades and let's see how many levels we can get with 1 bottle of infestation. After slightly more than 2 minutes, the effect vanished and I got all the way to level 75. If you want to repeat this insanity, you just have to throw 1 more potion of infestation against the wall right here. Now if you decide to do something else and not use this farm, I recommend breaking the 3 cactuses that we have right here. This just makes sure that the armadillos won't die at all, even if the zombie is unloaded. Also, you don't want to have any baby armadillos in the farm because this will cause problems with the silverfish. If you liked the video and it helped you, please don't forget to subscribe. This would help me very much and you won't miss further content. And then, I hope we see us again in the next video. See ya! This farm right here is totally insane. I got all these stacks of sand within only half a minute of AFKing. But not only that, if you want to, you can also produce tons of anvils, gravel and all kinds of concrete powder with this farm. Now first of all, what you're gonna need is a good resource pack that can showcase chunk borders and chunks. As you can see in the bottom corner of my screen, I installed one and you can do that too on my Discord server, but there are also plenty of other resource packs that work as well. In addition to that, I also have a tutorial on my channel that showcases how to find chunks without any resource packs. You can watch that, link in the description. Now whatever method you use, you will need some kind of blocks to mark the chunks. I use two kinds of blocks so I have a good contrast between the chunks. Now as you can see, if I step over these two blocks, there is a chunk border, meaning this is the border of this chunk right here. Now I place blocks until I get to the corner of the chunk, which is right here, as you can see in the little map in the corner. So I go into this direction and I do this until I cross the next chunk, which is right here. And then you just have to continue that so you have a full square that fills out the entire chunk border. Now this is our first chunk all marked out. And here we got the second one. By the way, a chunk always has the size 16 by 16 blocks. That means if you count one side of the square right here, you should end up having 16 blocks. If this is not the case, you did something wrong while marking the chunk. As you can see, I'm now finished with marking myself 5 consecutive chunks within one row. And now the first thing that you want to do is to go to the last of the 5 chunks. Then you want to go to one of the 2 middle blocks, which should be these 2, and grab yourself some blue ice or any other kind of ice, but blue ice will be the fastest. Then you want to just build a row out of that ice from the one chunk border to the front chunk border right here. Also, you want to grab some glass and you want to place a temporal block in this position, 3 glass blocks around. By the way, you can also use regular solid blocks, so like some bricks or cobblestone, and then you want to break the temporary block. Now, just extend that line of glass all the way to the end of the ice and do that at the other side as well. And we will later continue with our ice path all the way back there, but this will be a step later. Then you want to grab some water and also some buttons. Now take the water and place it all the way at the end of our ice path. Then you want to take a button and you want to place it right where the water ends, so one block after the last water block. Then place a water behind that button and it should flow in the opposite direction and should end right at the edge of our ice path. At this point everything should be looking something like this. Now take yourself some solid blocks, or if you want you can also use glass, that doesn't matter, and you want to place blocks from the glass path all the way to the corner of the chunk. You want to repeat the same thing on the other side as well, which should look something like this. Then place one temporary block in this position and go one block up. You can now go ahead and break the block. And then you want to take that block and extend it all the way to the other end of the chunk, so again to the corner right here. We will now need to have 2 more rows in the same height. This is 1 and this is 2 right here, which will give us a total of 4 rows of blocks. Now as the next step, we want to enclose everything with regular blocks or glass, as I will do it. In order to do so, place a temporary block in this position right here and go up by 4. 3 and 4. Then you want to break the temporary block because this will spare you some blocks, and then you want to go all the way around the entire thing, which should be looking like this. As you can see in the front side, we will have a hole in this height, and you can now go ahead and close it up with the same kind of blocks that you used before. Now I closed everything up in this height, and now as you can see, this is the height that the entire cage should have. So you now want to go ahead and extend everything up to that height. This will give you a cage that has the height 4 blocks and also 5 blocks in the front side. Now what we're gonna do is to go ahead and grab ourselves some more water. If it helps you, you can also go ahead and create an infinite water source, which looks something like this, and this will give you infinite water to fill the entire thing and to use it for all the water that we need within our farm. Now the first thing that we're gonna do is to place some water in this position right here, so at the end of the lower block row, and also on the other side the same thing. Then you want to grab some blocks, some buttons again, and you want to place the button in the water source, so right here and also at the other side. This will ensure that this water will always stay where it is and the water won't get deleted by any falling blocks. Next, take one more button and place it right in this position between our 2 water streams, and then you should have the water stream that flows into this direction. Now you can go back to your infinite water source and you want to fill the entire back row of this cage with water source blocks. Make sure that these two blocks right here are flowing water blocks and not source blocks. Then you want to go ahead and fill the entire upper level with levers. As you can see, even the flowing water won't get deleted or prohibited by the levers, but the levers will get waterlogged. This should give you a 3x16 pattern out of levers. Next, you want to turn around to the front side of our cage and you want to remove this line out of blocks. This should be the second line, counting from above. You want to then go ahead and take some regular pistons, so no sticky ones, and you want to replace the row of blocks with our pistons. This should give you a 16 line out of pistons. Now, you want to go ahead and take some solid blocks and you want to place a line of solid blocks, one block underneath the piston row, so in these positions. Then you want to grab yourself some fence gates. You can use any kind of fence gates that you want. And you want to go ahead and place one fence gate above every single of the levers that are in the first row. Now, after doing this, you want to repeat the same thing for the second row as well. And now that we completed the second row, you want to repeat this a third time, but this time one block above, so in these positions right here. And make sure to go all the way to the end of the cage, so you got a row of fence gates that is 16 blocks long. Now that we placed all our fence gates, we want to open them as well. Now the next thing that we want to do is to grab some end rods. And we want to place a row out of end rods above the fence gate row, which means one block away from the piston heads. This row should be 16 end rods long and looking something like this. Now, as I already announced, we need to finish up our ice highway for all the items to end up being in our first chunk. In order to do so, you want to continue the line of blue ice or whatever ice variant you used, and you want to continue it all the way to the first chunk, but you don't need to go all the way to the first border of that chunk. Then you also want to continue the two sides of glass, and once you did that, the one thing missing to our ice highway are the water streams, so grab yourself some more buttons and water buckets, place a button in this position, place some water, then place another button behind the water stream and a water source, and continue that all the way to the end of the ice stream. Of course, to prevent water from flowing out, you'll always need to place a button in this position right here at the end of the ice as well. Now you will need to grab a sticky piston, some redstone, a lever, a stone brick or any other kind of solid block, and a block of redstone. And we will build a redstone clock out of this. Now, in order to do so, you want to remove this block and replace it with this solid block. You want to make sure that the solid block still is in our first chunk. Then place a sticky piston in this position, a block of redstone above, and a redstone dust in this position. This should create a redstone clock, and you want to place a lever right here and flick it. This should turn off the redstone clock, and now what you need to do is to continue that line of redstone dust. Every 15 blocks at least, you want to place a redstone repeater to refresh the redstone signal. But you can do this more frequently than every 15 blocks in order to make sure that our signal reaches the end of the farm. Then, once you are right underneath the row of blocks, what you want to do is to place a solid block right underneath, so in this position, and a redstone torch on top of that block, and it should be right underneath the row of solid blocks. Now you want to place a row out of redstone on top of that row of blocks, so all of the regular pistons are extended, and also make sure that the redstone line reaches the block where the redstone torch is on top. At this point, you can go ahead and place in your gravity blocks. I will use sand for this, but you can also use concrete powder and any kind of concrete powder, gravel, and anvils. You want to place the gravity blocks on top of the extended piston arms. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention one more thing. You will need to place a row out of buttons in this position right here, so right behind the last row of levers. It should end up be looking something like this, and it will make sure that the water stream will be perfectly working. And then you want to go back to the first chunk, because we now are ready to use the farm. In order to use the farm, I'm first of all going to throw away all the sand that I got. And then what you want to do is to flick this lever right here. Then as you can see, the sand should not drop down. If the sand drops down, you did something wrong with the line of redstone. Now leave this farm running, but make sure not to leave it running for too long. I don't recommend leaving it on for more than 1 minute because this will definitely lag out your game. The farm is totally insane, trust me. Now as you can see, I cleared my entire inventory, and also I think that enough time has passed and I produced a good amount of sand in this farm. So now at this point, you want to flick off the lever right here, and you want to save and quit the game. Then you want to go back into the world, and probably this will take longer than usually. And once you are back in the world, nothing will happen. Everything will happen once you cross the first chunk border right here. As you can see, our game lags, and all the sand drops down into the water stream and will directly get transported toward us. Here it is, and you can go ahead and collect everything. It will all drop down and directly go into your inventory, and as you can see, within only a few seconds we produced about 21 stacks of sand, which is totally insane. Now if you think that is too insane, keep in mind that every time the pistons extend, 16 blocks of sand will get duplicated, so every 4 times 1 stack of sand will get duplicated. You can easily produce tons of sand with this farm, and if this video helped you, please don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notifications. I appreciate every kind of support I get, and then we see us again in the next video. See ya! This Minecraft Bedrock Mob XP Farm is super easy to build and will give you tons of good loot and experience within only minutes of AFKing, so build it right now. First of all, let's talk about biomes. Generally speaking, you can build this farm wherever you want, so in every biome apart from lakes and rivers. I recommend building it above an ocean for the highest rates. Once you found a good spot, you want to go into your world settings and there make sure that you have the show coordinates settings on. Then you want to go ahead and stack up some blocks all the way to Y level 150, and you can use all the blocks that you want for this building. Now we are also gonna add some ladders at the side of this pillar so that we can easily access the top of the pillar. And once you're all the way back at the top, what you wanna do is to stand on top of the pillar and extend out by 3 into this direction, and then by 5 into this direction right here. And this should give you a 6 by 4 rectangle. And let's just fill in all the blocks for the entire rectangle so you have a 4 by 6 platform. After this, you want to go to the back side and count down 1, 2, 3 blocks, and here at the third one, you want to place a double chest. After doing this, you want to place 1 hopper above each of these 2 chests, and then 2 more hoppers behind the first 2 hoppers like this. Next, you want to stand in front of the chest and you want to sneak and place 2 slabs in these 2 positions in front of the hoppers, and this way you can still open the chest when building the farm. Now what you want to do is to place blocks all the way around the entire thing. Make sure to leave the front side open and put a second layer on top of that thing. And as the next step, we're gonna go ahead and build a Trident killer on the surface. In order to do this, what you want to do is to place a piston in this position and then place pistons every other block so you end up having this windmill shape. Then what you want to do is to place redstone torches at the outside of the piston, so you want to place them in the corner of the Trident killer. You want to do this on all 4 pistons like this. And after doing this, we're also going to need 4 more observers, and you want to place the observer facing this way, so with the arrow pointing towards the piston. Again, you want to do this on all 4 sides. As the following step, you want to take a lever and place it at the front side at this piston right here. If you flick it, then it should spin around 1 time, and if you flick it a second time, this redstone clock should fire infinitely. You want to flick this off for now and throw in a Trident. 1 will be enough for our case. As the next step, what you want to do is to take some solid blocks again and just put a rim on top of our Trident killer. Once you finish the first layer, you want to put a second layer on top again, going all the way around the entire thing. Then you want to stand on top of one edge of that Trident killer, and you want to extend out by 7 blocks. So 5, 6, 7. Then you want to do this on all 3 other edges as well. Now you should have a star shape like this, and as the next thing, you want to connect all these 4 lines to a square. Once we got that square set up, we want to fill in all the blocks so we have a solid platform to stand on. Make sure to leave these 4 blocks above the Trident killer open. As you can see, I finished up this square platform, and this will be the floor for our mob farm. As the next step, what you want to do is to place 1 block at the side. You can choose either side of the square and then go up by 1. Now break that temporary block. And as the next step, you want to build a ring all the way around the platform. Make sure that it has an offset of 1 block at all points. With these blocks, you want to go all the way around, and once you've finished a first layer, you want to put a second layer on top, again going all the way around. And also, you want to make sure that these are solid blocks, so no blocks that can let light pass through. Now that we got a neat wall for our mob farm, you can come to the middle of the farm, and then you want to break these 4 blocks. These 4 blocks should be right at the corner at the Trident killer. You want to replace them with magma blocks. And then you want to pick one of the magma blocks and go out by 3. So 1, 2, 3 blocks. And replace it with a magma block as well. Do that again, so a magma block right here. And also 1 block away, and it looks like this. Then you want to do this on all 4 sides. Now we already got a cross with magma blocks every 3 blocks. And now you want to finish up the entire grid by placing blocks in the corners as well. This should look something like this, and you want to do this for all 3 other corners as well. Once you finished it up, take a look and check whether you placed every magma block that you have to. You should have placed 36 magma blocks, so 6 by 6. As the next step, we want to cover every single one of these magma blocks with a trapdoor. This should be looking like this. And you want to do this with every of these magma blocks. Here we are, and now as the next step, you want to place 1 scaffolding on top of every single block where there is no magma block and trapdoor. This is because in scaffoldings, mobs will still be able to spawn, but we can place water streams above. Now it's quite a lot of work to place all these scaffoldings, but it will definitely be worth it in the end, and I'm already finished with this step. Now that we got all the scaffolding set up, we can start filling in the water streams. And in order to do this, what you want to do is to go to 1 corner of your choice. There, what you want to do is to place 3 blocks like this, then 2, and then 1 more, so you end up having this triangle shape. You want to do this to all 3 other corners as well. And after you did that to every single corner, you want to put another rim on top of our ring all the way around the entire farm. But make sure not to place another layer of blocks on top of the 4 triangles in the corner. We won't need that, and this would disturb our water streams. Now you want to go ahead and take out some water buckets, and you can place yourself an infinite water source out here outside the farm. Or you can just take it from the ocean if you want to. You would have to place 2 water buckets in these spots, and you will have infinite water to fill in all the water streams. First of all, you want to place water in all of these blocks. So beginning at 1 triangle at one side and ending at the other one, so right here. Then you want to do this on all 4 sides. Now in addition to that, what you want to do is to place water in all 4 corners on top of the 4 triangle shapes. And this will give us a perfect water stream with all the water flowing perfectly to the edge of the Trident killer. If this is not the case for you, you messed up some of the lengths of the platform or maybe the water streams, so check the video again if you'd messed this up. But if you did everything correctly, you can go ahead with the next step. This is to place 1 block on top of the wall. You can do this wherever you want, and then go 1 block inside, remove that temporary block, and then you want to place a roof all above the water streams. Now this is 1 mob farm cell finished, and you could theoretically use the farm already, but I recommend putting more layers on top. 4 layers, so 3 added to this one would be my recommendation. This will give you a very high rate, but it's not that difficult and expensive to build. It just takes some time to place all the blocks. Now how do you put another layer on top of this one? The first thing that you want to do is to find the middle of that layer, and you want to break the 4 middle blocks that are above the Trident killer, so all the mobs that spawn at the higher levels can also drop down into the Trident killer. Then This right here, so the roof of the first layer is also the floor of the second layer, and you just have to go ahead and repeat the step that I have shown you outgoing from the platform that you created. In the end, this will be looking something like this. As you can see, I built the 4-layer version. Now you don't have to do this, you can do this with 2, 3 or just 1 layer, but I don't recommend going above level 4. Now however you decide, you also have to spawn proof the top. For this, just use regular torches and just enlighten everything on top of here. You don't have to spam all these torches, because since a recent update, the mob spawning has been changed so that the mobs can only spawn with no light at all. So this will be enough lighting for our case. Now last but definitely not least, we also have to create a good AFK spot for us to stand on while using the farm. Because if you would be standing right here, mobs won't spawn as frequent as with the AFK spot that I will be showing you. So in order to build this one, I recommend standing on top of this platform in front of the chest and look at your Y coordinate. This is 150 in my case, and you want to subtract 22, which will give you a Y coordinate of 128. And you want to go down your letters, and you want to go to that coordinate, and there you just want to build a small platform that is right underneath of our Trident killer. So like this, centered with the center of the mob farm. If you want to, you can build yourself a small base right here. Also recommend lighting it up so no mobs can spawn right here. And then you can already go ahead and use the farm. If you want to do this, what you have to do is to go up the ladders. And now to activate the farm, you just have to flick on this lever right here. And this will kill all the mobs automatically. You just have to stand on top of your AFK spot for the farm to run with the best rates. If you want to get even better rates, you just want to take a sword with the looting 3 enchantment. And now let's just wait for 5 minutes to check our results. Now I waited for 5 minutes and let's check what we got. As you can see, we got a good amount of bones, arrows, gunpowder, which is very important, rotten flesh, some bows, a carrot even, an iron ingot, and also some loot from the witches that died in the farm. Of course, the longer you AFK, the more items you will get. So if you do this overnight, then this will give you an insane amount, and you would even have to build a larger storage system. Now in the end, if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications, then you won't miss any further content, and I appreciate all of your support. Let's see us again in the next one. See ya! Here's how to build this fully automatic auto smelter that comes with infinite fuel in Minecraft Bedrock edition. Now in order to build this infinite fuel auto smelter, the first thing you want to do is to place down a double chest. Then go to the side and connect 8 hoppers to it. All of them should be funneling into each other, so everything will end up being in the double chest. Then you want to go ahead and place a row out of furnaces on top of the hoppers. If you want to smelt every kind of item, then a furnace will be perfect, also giving the most experience. But if you don't care for experience and you just want to smelt iron or other ores, you can use a blast furnace, and if you just want to use it to smoke some meat or potatoes or something like that, you can use a smoker instead. Just replace the 8 furnaces with one of the 2 items if you want to. But once you've decided on a furnace type, you can go ahead and take some more hoppers and place a row out of hoppers at the backside of the furnaces. Again, all of the hoppers should funnel into the furnace that is in front. Then we're gonna need a third row of hoppers, and you want to place them on top of the furnaces again, linking with the furnaces below. Now of course, if you can't place the hoppers, you will actually need to sneak in order to place them on top of the furnaces. By the way, if you need some extra iron for all the hoppers that you need to craft for this farm, then check out my channel, I got some good iron farm tutorials on there. But now what I want you to do is to go to the side of the chest right here and stack up 5 blocks next to it. It should look like this, and then you can go ahead and place 2 stairs above the chest. As you can see, we can still open the chest, but we've filled in the blocks above. Then you want to place 2 solid blocks on top of these stairs, and also you want to place 2 more blocks in these positions, so right behind the stairs. At the other side, we're gonna do the same thing. So 2 blocks next to this row of hoppers, and 2 blocks next to the other one, but then you also want to place 2 more blocks in these positions and break the blocks below so you got this staircase pattern. As the next step, you want to take some rails and place 1 rail on top of all these 8 hoppers. Then go to this side and place 1 more rail in this position, and then we will need a powered rail right here. Also do the same thing at the other side, so a powered rail in this position. Next we're gonna do the same thing at the other hopper row, so you want to place some regular rails and also on this block, and then you want to place a powered rail right here and another one right there. Now as you can see, these rails connect up, but we don't want this, and in order to prevent that from happening, you want to remove the powered rails again and break these 2 blocks, place some temporal blocks right here, and place a rail in this position. Then once you place the powered rail right here, it gets locked in position and you can place the other one as you desire. So then you want to break the rail again and place the 2 blocks that we broke. Also break the 2 holder blocks, and as you can see, it looks perfect. Now you just have to do the same thing at the other side. So place some holder blocks, remove the powered rails, place another rail right here, and then you can place the other one, and nothing is connected as it shouldn't. Make sure to remove the block you don't need and also replace these 2, and then we can go ahead and place 1 minecart with chest on top of both of these rail tracks. Now we need to activate the powered rails. In order to do this, go to this side right here and place 2 redstone torches in these positions at the side of the blocks, and as you can see, the powered rails light up. On the other side, however, what you want to do is to go to the back side and make sure that you got a solid block right next to this minecart. So no glass blocks or leaf blocks or anything not solid, otherwise this minecart track won't work. Then at the front side you want to take a lever and place it in this position, so right at the side of the block where the powered rail is on top. Then flick the lever and both of the minecarts with chest should start running, and you can go ahead and place some more blocks right here to make this somewhat nice looking. Now we are already finished with the first part of the farm, but of course an auto smelter will need fuel to work. And in order to get infinite fuel, I want to show you a method you probably don't know. I recommend building this right next to the farm so you have an easy access and can put all the fuel directly into our system. Now in order to do this, what you want to do is to place down a stone brick. Now jump on top of the stone brick, and as you can see, we got the long side right here, and this is the side that you want to face. You can go ahead and remove the block again, and then you want to place down a cauldron with some water inside. Now surround the cauldron with solid blocks on this side, but leave open 1 block at the back side, so looking like this. There you want to go ahead and place an observer, and the arrow of the observer should point that way. Now you want to take 2 dispensers and place 1 at either of these sides of the cauldron, then go 1 block behind and place 2 note blocks right there. Then you want to take some redstone dust, place it in these 4 positions. That means on these 2 note blocks, on the observer and on this block. Now you want to place some temporal blocks in this position right here, and then a solid one in this position. Break the 2 blocks right here, and then you just want to go 1 block up and then surround this block on all 4 sides. You now should have a cross like this, and you can go ahead and break the middle block. There, go ahead and place some lava source. Now at the bottom of this block right here, you want to go ahead and place 2 dripstones like this, so it is right above the cauldron. Now the last thing to do is to come to the front side. You want to break this block right here, you want to access this dispenser, you want to put a water bucket inside, and then put an empty bucket inside of the other dispenser. This is everything set up, and in order to get the infinite fuel, you want to take some empty buckets and you want to empty the cauldron. Then if this happened and the cauldron is filled with water again, you want to swap the 2 items in the dispenser, so put a bucket, an empty one, inside of this one, and a filled one inside of the other one, and then repeat the same thing. This is what should happen. So lava is now in the cauldron. You can repeat this as often as you want, and every time you do this, lava will end up being in the cauldron. Now in between emptying, you want to make sure to have 1 or 2 seconds so the machine doesn't break while using this farm, but as you can see, we will get infinite lava using this one. You just need some buckets, And again, if you need some more iron for the buckets, I have some good iron farm tutorials on my channel. So now that we got all the fuel we need, there is one last thing to do, and this is to place a double chest right at the top of the farm. So right here, then you want to grab a hopper and you want to place it underneath of the chest in this position. This will automatically fill up this minecart with chest whenever there is something in the chest right here. And this is the double chest where you want to put in all the lava buckets. If you don't want to use the lava bucket method, of course you can use regular coal or anything else as fuel as well. And now in order to smelt the items, you want to flick this lever so the minecart stops. You then can go ahead and put all the items you want to smelt into the minecart with chest, then reactivate the lever, and now all the furnaces should get filled with the items that you want to smelt. And all the finished items should end up being in this double chest right here, as you can see. Now when smelting items in the furnaces, experience builds up even if you take out the items automatically using hoppers. And if you want to later access this experience, you can simply do this by placing one lever in front of all these 8 hoppers right here. And then if you want to collect the experience, just flick all of them. And this will actually lock all these 8 hoppers right here, so all the smelted items will stay in the slot, and then you just have to collect it, and as you can see, we will get some experience. And trust me, if you smelted a lot of items, so use this farm for hours, this can actually give you tons of experience. Now at this point, I hope this tutorial helped you for your survival world. If it did, please don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate every kind of support that I get. And then I hope we will see us again in the next video. See ya! This video, let's build an easy wither skeleton skull farm for Minecraft Bedrock. First of all, you have to find a nether fortress, and then you want to search for such a cross section that looks something like this. By the way, if you can't find any fortresses or you didn't find the right one, then you can just go to a website called chunkbase.com. There you can just enter the seed and the version you're currently in, and then it will automatically point out all the locations for nether fortresses in your world. You can also enter your own locations to find the nearest one. Preferably it should be above lava, and you should have connected 4 bridges to it. Once you got one, you want to tear it down so it is at the same height as the wall. This should be looking like this, so it is at the same level as the bridges are. Now as the next step, we want to go to the corner block and skip that block, then destroy these 3 and do this on all 4 sides. So skip the corner block, then destroy these 3 that are in the middle, skip the corner block and then destroy these 3 and again. Once you got that, you can replace these blocks with obsidian. This will be the foundation for our nether portals. Once you got that, in the corner you can stack up 3 blocks of obsidian, and you want to do this in all 3 corners as well, and that looks like this. Now to finish it up, we just need some temporary blocks on top of that pillars, and then connect everything with obsidian, and this will give you 4 3x3 portals. By the way, if you have problems with hostile mobs while building this farm, just set your game to peaceful. This won't have any effects on your achievements. As the next step, you want to go to the block that is in the middle of these portals, so this block. And there you want to stack up by 3 solid blocks like this. Now on the second and third block you want to place trapdoors at the lower side, and you want to do this all the way around. So you want to place 8 trapdoors in total like this. Now you can destroy all these 3 blocks, and then what you have to do is to get a piglin in the middle of these trapdoors. By the way, piglins will also spawn in peaceful mode. This will make everything very easy. What you have to do is to find a piglin that has a sword. You don't want to have a piglin that has a crossbow, because this won't work with our farm design. Then you just have to place down a boat in front of it. It will sit in that boat, and then you just have to transport it to your farm. Once you got it there, you want to take out an anvil and a name tag, and you want to name the name tag, maybe to piglin or something like that, and then you just take it out and name the piglin. This will prevent the piglin from despawning, so it will always be here. Once you got that set up, you can ignite all these 4 portals like this, and then jump in one of these. As you can see, in my case, the overworld portal is right in a cave, If you want to, you can relink it to a portal at the surface, but if you want to, in a cave will work as well. Now on the back side, you want to place 6 blocks to prevent skeletons from escaping that way. And then in front of the portal, you want to dig out a 2 by 2 by 3 hole, so 3 blocks deep like this. Then 2 trapdoors in these 2 positions, and you want to flick them. This will make the skeletons drop down in the hole right here. Now drop down in the hole yourself, and then clear out these 4 blocks, then 4 more, and then you just want to create a staircase for you to go up, something like this. You don't have to build this exactly, but it should look something like this. Now in this position right here, so underneath the first block, you want to place a double chest, then 4 hoppers linking with that double chest. You want to make sure that all of them are funneling towards the double chest. You have to crouch in order to place them. On top of these hoppers, you want to place 4 slabs like this. That way nothing will get stuck in the hoppers, but all the items will get to the chest. Finally, you want to create a cage all around your portal and the farm. If you want to, you can do this out of solid blocks. In this case, I will use some glass as well because I think it looks pretty cool. You want to make sure that you build this all the way around, so don't leave any open gaps, because otherwise the skeletons might escape and we don't want that. Now that we got that, create a hole for yourself to get through, then replace the block of course and go to the nether again. Now that we set up our killing chamber, of course we can't use one of these portals to enter the overworld again, so we'll need a second one that we can use to get all the items. In order to do this, you want to go away about 20 or 30 blocks, not too far away because we don't want the skeletons to despawn. Then build out a bridge and you can place your portal on top of that bridge. Just a simple 2 by 3 portal, it doesn't have to be anything special. And now once you got that portal set up, you can light it as well, and then you want to go through. As you can see here, I am in a cave as well, therefore I created a way for myself to get to the other portal quickly. You want to be as quick as possible because you don't want to have the risk that the wither skeletons despawn. Once you make sure that you have a quick access to the killing chamber, you can re-enter the nether again. And then the final thing we have to do in order to finish our farm is to set up an AFK spot up there above the farm. In order to do this, you want to stack up some blocks above our trapdoors like this, and then you want to go up by 20 blocks. So in this case we're at Y71, so we want to go to Y91 like this. There you can set up a small platform if you want to. You can design this as you want. And then of course we'll need a way down, so just place some ladders continuously all the way down. Also you want to have some ladders at the side of the portal too, because then you can easily access the ladders. Now in server mode we are able to use the farm. I recommend having a looting 3 sword for the most wither skeleton skulls. To use the farm, you want to go up the ladders to your AFK platform that is up here. And once you're on top of that platform, you can go into hard mode again. This will give you the most wither skeletons in the shortest time. And now you just have to AFK and wait. I'm now going to AFK for 10 minutes to show you the raids. Now I AFK'd for exactly 10 minutes, and now to check our results, we just have to go down the ladders. And then of course directly to the portal, and you want to go through it. And then as quick as possible you want to go to your killing chamber, and as soon as you are there you should find some wither skeletons that are at our killing chamber. Now you just want to take out your looting 3 sword and then kill all of these. In this case I didn't wait that long, but I already got one wither skeleton skull. Of course this will also depend on luck. The longer you wait, the more wither skeletons you will get and the more wither skeleton skulls in the end. If your farm does not work at all and does not have any wither skeletons, then check the pinned comment, there I got some advice for you that might help you. If you liked this video, then please don't forget to subscribe, this would help me very much, and I hope we see us again in the next video. See ya! Here's how to build this simple villager breeder for Minecraft Bedrock edition. For the villager breeder, the first thing that you want to do is to place down a dispenser. Then place 2 glass blocks in this position, and you want to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 solid blocks at this side. Then you want to place 3 blocks in these positions and then connect it with the dispenser so you have a 3x2 rectangle empty in the middle. Then take some rails and place one right here in front of the dispenser and then just all the way to where you want to transport the villagers later. Now place a water bucket inside of here at this position so the water stream will end up at the dispenser right here. Now we're gonna add 2 more layers to this construction. That means 4 blocks of glass in the front side and then just place a wall of solid blocks all the way around. That means on top of the solid blocks and on top of the dispenser. Next you want to place 2 temporary blocks in these locations and then you want to place upper slabs on all 4 sides of that block. Next you can go ahead and remove the 2 blocks again and then replace the upper one with a glass pane block. Then we're gonna need a roof out of slabs on top of the entire thing, starting in this corner and then go all the way around the entire construction and also in these 3 locations. Then take out your solid blocks again and place 4 solid blocks on top of each other in this location. At the side you want to place some ladders so you can easily access this spot later. Now in the front side we have 1 block empty above the rail and we're now gonna change that. So place a upper slab in this position, a solid block above and another slab on top of that solid block. This will prevent any zombies from killing our villagers in the farm. As the next step, I want you to go up the ladders so you are on top of the roof and then place a regular piston in this position. This should be the back side of the farm. On top of the piston, you want to place a dispenser pointing towards you and then you want to surround everything with glass blocks. So in all these 3 locations. Next, create another layer out of slabs and then you want to go to the side. You want to place a lever right here, so at the side of the dispenser, and then another block and a button in this position. Now you will need to get 2 villagers either from your nearest village or from curing zombie villagers. Then what you want to do is to get the 2 villagers in this hole, so on top of the glass pane. Now in survival mode, the easiest way to do this is to use a leash or lead on that boat and stack yourself up using temporary blocks. I want you to go all the way up so you're right above the entire farm, so the villager should land on top of the roof, like this. Now just push the villager above the hole, make sure it lands safely on top of the glass pane. You want to get rid of all temporary blocks as I already did, and then repeat the same thing with the second villager. Now that we got the 2 villagers in place, I want you to go to the back side of the entire thing and there you want to place 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks and extend that on both sides so you get 6 blocks in a row. Then you want to go 3 blocks into this direction and fill in the entire platform so you have a 6x4 rectangle. And now on top of this platform we can fit 12 beds. You can do more if you want to, but this doesn't really matter if you transport the baby villagers away from the farm directly. Now there are 2 last things to do before you can use the farm. The first thing is to enter this dispenser at the top and you want to place 1 stack of bread into that dispenser and then you want to drop down and go to the second dispenser right here and put some minecarts into that dispenser. And now the farm is set up and can be used. What you want to do is to go up the ladders and then you want to flick this lever several times. Bread should get dispensed out and the villagers should collect it. You want to repeat this as long as the villagers don't start breeding. As you can see, sooner or later you will start seeing these harsh particles and that means that the villagers start breeding and the baby villager will drop down immediately into our water stream. And as you can see, we already got 3 baby villagers. Now this farm will work as long as the 12 beds aren't filled. So that means 10 baby villagers plus our 2 regular ones. If you want to create an infinite amount of villagers, then you just have to minecart the baby villagers away 100 blocks from the farm and they won't count to the village anymore. So you just have to add some more rails to that existing minecart track and then you simply have to place a button at the side of the dispenser and press it once. This will spawn a minecart and a baby villager will enter the minecart, you can push it to its desired destination and repeat this as often as you want to. If the farm stops working for no visible reason, check that there's enough bread left for the villagers, and if you don't have bread in the dispenser anymore, you just have to put some more into it. At this point, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know by subscribing to my channel. I appreciate every kind of support that I get, and thanks for the support in the recent time. Then I hope we see us again in the next video. See ya! Here's how to build this fully automatic twisting vines bone meal farm in Minecraft Bedrock. In order to build it, the first thing you're gonna do is to place 4 blocks in a T-shape like this. And you want to break this block right here, so you have a V-shape. Then place a lever in this position, and in between these 2 blocks, place a redstone repeater, and you want to click it once, so these prongs are in this exact position. Then what you want to do is to place a redstone torch at the front side, and some redstone dust at the back side, and that should give you a redstone clock. You can flick this off for now, then grab some solid blocks and place a line out of 6 solid blocks right next to the redstone torch. Behind it, you want to break these 2 blocks, and then continue breaking blocks all the way until you get to the end of the row of blocks, and also 1 block further. Then in the hole, you want to place 1, 2, 3, 4 regular pistons. Behind the pistons, you want to place some redstone dust. Then also in this position 1 more redstone dust, and right here a redstone repeater that is clicked once like this. Next up, we're gonna place some solid blocks above the redstone dust like this, and place sticky pistons on top. They should point towards here, so towards the front side of the farm. We also want to have 2 blocks in these positions and at the other side as well, and at the back side you're gonna place 4 blocks behind the sticky pistons. Now we can already connect the sticky pistons with the redstone system. You just want to place 6 redstone dust like this, 2 more in these positions, and everything is connected. The regular pistons right there should also extend. Now in front of the sticky pistons, you want to place 4 pieces of sand, and you want to do the same thing above the sticky pistons as well. Then what you want to do is to place blocks in all these locations, and also you want to surround the sand at the top with some solid blocks. And we continue with the harvesting mechanism of the farm. In order to build the mechanism, what you want to do is to place 4 solid blocks behind the sand, and then 4 regular pistons on top. Now you want to place 9 blocks as a wall on this side, and once you did this, you want to do the same thing at the other side. So 3 layers of 3 blocks like this, which will give you a 9 block wall. We're also gonna need a roof, and in order to do this, you want to place 4 blocks on top of the pistons, then 4 more blocks in front, and 4 last blocks in front of that as well. On top of these 4 sand blocks, you can go ahead and already place your twisting vines. Now of course, when these twisting vines will get harvested later, they will drop as an item, but they aren't bone meal yet. Now let's build something that automatically converts the twisting vines into bone meal. Of course, if you build this farm for the bare twisting vines, then you don't have to do this, but I want to show you how to automatically convert everything into bone meal. And in order to do this, what you want to do is to break these 6 blocks in front of the farm. Now at these 2 right here, we're gonna place a double chest, and in the other 4, we want to place hoppers that all link to each other and funnel into the chest. On top, place a row out of composters, and then we're gonna need another row out of hoppers on top. Now when you try to place them at the side of the composter like this, they will actually generate at the side. So in order to place them correctly, you want to aim at the floor or the bottom or whatever you want to call it of the composter like this, and then all of the nozzles from the hoppers should point downwards. Above the hoppers you want to place 2 double chests like this, then go ahead and break the row of solid blocks behind, and you want to replace that row with a row of hoppers. Of course, all of the hoppers should funnel into the chest in front. To finish up this part, you want to grab 8 blocks of glass and place them in these locations. By the way, if you try to open the double chest right here, this is still possible because glass isn't considered a full block. Now the last piece that is missing for this farm is the connection between our redstone system and the harvesting pistons right here. And in order to connect them, you want to place a redstone dust in this position, a solid block right here, then a redstone torch. Now place another solid block on top with another redstone torch. And by the way, when I say solid blocks, I mean no glass or no leaves, but rather something that I use, stone bricks or maybe smooth stone or cobblestone. Next, place another solid block on top of the redstone torch and a last redstone torch right here. Now underneath the pistons, you want to place some solid blocks, and you also want to place another block in this position and right here. Then go one block upwards and place another block right there. Then outgoing from the redstone torch, we're gonna place a redstone repeater that you want to click once, and then also you want to place 6 redstone dusts in these positions. And at this point our entire farm is finished and set up, so you can use it right now. In order to use this farm in survival mode, what you want to do is to flick this lever right here. This will activate the entire mechanism. As you can see, the twisting vines will grow and will automatically get harvested. Everything will end up being in the hoppers and will automatically get transferred into the composters, where they get converted into bone meal. If you want to collect the bone meal that is generated in this farm, you can do this at this double chest right here. As you can see, this is fairly quick. Now one last thing that I want to mention for this farm is that whenever you leave an area of a 60 block radius to the farm, I recommend turning the farm off. Same goes if you leave the world, because there is a small risk that this farm might break and you would have to replace the sand. This might be a little tedious, so if you want to prevent that from happening, do as I have told you. At this point, I hope this video helped you for your survival world, and if it did, please don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate every kind of support I get, and if you have some questions, you can leave them in the comment section. Then we see us again in the next video. See ya! Here's how to build this very easy and straightforward item sorter in Minecraft Bedrock Edition. First of all, you want to lay out the general shape of your item sorter. That means you gotta think about how many items you want to sort with this item sorter. I want to sort 5 items. Now per item that you want to sort out, you want to place 1 double chest in a row like this. I want to sort 5 items, so 5 double chests in a row. Next up, you want to think about how many of these items should fit in your storage system. So basically, do you want to have 1, 2 or 3 double chests full of inventory space for one single item? Now, if you want to have more than 1 double chest per item, then you just have to stack the double chests on top of the first layer that we already got. Here we are, and I go with 2 double chests per item. Of course, you can do a higher amount if you want to. The storage system can be infinitely high or infinitely long, but when you got that set up, what you want to do is to go behind the double chests, and there you want to place 1 hopper behind every single of these double chests. You want to make sure that the nozzles are facing the double chest, so all the hoppers are linked with their double chest in front. Once you got 1 hopper behind every single of the double chests, you want to place some temporary blocks on top of the double chests like this, and then place hoppers facing these blocks. Here you want to make sure that the nozzles are facing the blocks and they should not point downwards. Then you can go ahead and break these blocks again. Next up, what we're gonna do is to go to this side of the hopper row and there place a solid block and a double chest next to it. Now break that temporary block and then place another line of hoppers, and all of them should funnel into the double chest like this. 1 extra hopper in this position and then another double chest on top of this hopper. And this is the entire hopper and chest system set up. Now let's go to the redstone part of the item sorter. For this, I want you to go to the back side, and there you want to place a row out of blocks in this position. That row of blocks should be 1 block away from the hoppers, and it should be 1 block below the highest chest for your items. Then you want to place 1 redstone torch at each of these blocks at this side, so they should face the hoppers like this, and behind the blocks you want to place redstone repeaters that go into those blocks. Behind the redstone repeaters you want to place another row out of solid blocks, and by the way, these really should be solid blocks so now these are glass blocks. Then, on top of the redstone repeaters, you want to place another row out of solid blocks, and also in this position right here, and above the redstone torches. Again, you want to check that you are at the correct block height, so these hoppers should be right next to your head. As the next step, you want to place redstone comparators in all these positions, but you want to turn around to do so the 2 prongs face the hoppers and the single one should face that way. Do this for all 5 hoppers like this, and then place redstone dust on top of all remaining solid blocks like this. Now this is the entire redstone setup, it wasn't that hard, right? So next up, what you're gonna do is to place down an anvil. You want to take out an item of any kind. I take dirt blocks, place it into the anvil, and then rename it, maybe to filter or something like this. This is because, for example, if you choose to use dirt as the filter blocks and then put dirt in the sorter, then the item sorter will break. And to prevent that from happening, we create unique blocks that you will never put into the system. So now that we got these filter blocks, what you want to do is to enter this hopper right here, and then you want to place one single of these filter blocks into the last 4 slots, like this. You want to do this for all of the hoppers that you have in this row, so with the nozzles pointing towards you. By the way, they should stay in place and should not be funneled into the hopper below if you set everything up correctly. Now I hope you already know which items you want to sort with this farm, because now we will need these items. You will need at least 42 of the items that you want to sort with 1 slot. I got my 5 items already in my hotbar, and now what I want to do for the first slot is to take an item frame, decide which item I want to have in that slot, let's say emeralds, and then go to the hopper where there are already the filter blocks inside, and then take at least 42 of these items and put them in the first slot. Now you should see that the number of items should drop down to 41 and should stay there. All the remaining items will be in the double chest right here. This is 1 slot set up, so let's do this for the remaining ones as well, right? The procedure is always the same. Place the item frame, place the item inside so that you know which item is in which double chest, and place the stack of items in the first slot of the respective hopper. And lastly, what you want to do is to place another item frame at this chest right here, and with a rotten flesh inside. This will be our symbol for the trash double chest. How the item sorter works is very straightforward. In order to use it, you want to dump all the items that you have or that you want to sort in this double chest right here. As you can see, they are transported and funneled into the hoppers and will get sorted in their respective double chest. That means all the items that fit through the filters can end up in their respective double chest. As you can see, the number is higher than before. And then all the items that don't fit in the filters, so aren't within our storage system, will end up being in the trash double chest. By the way, if you want to, you can always expand this system. This is everything that I want to say to this item sorter. If it helped, please don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate all support that I get, and then I hope we'll see us again in the next video. See ya!